What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back with another Larry, Lucci, G, and Shake. Hold the Larry. Larry is having some computer issues, but the second he could jump on, he will jump on. Today we are going to be talking about the playoffs. We're going to be talking about the defensive coordinator search and other bullshit. And you guys, we're going to take you guys on, of course, one at a time, like we always do on this beautiful day. So let's do this when we come back. So stick around.
I know you heard me on the radio flexing. She loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K. I know you heard me on the radio flexing. She loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K.
So what's going on, guys? Let's first give a few shout outs to first in the building, Hooked Up Joe, my man Raphael Courtwright. All right, okay. Never mind. Larry K's in the building. Dolphinier, Mr. Piolucci, Costa Nostra, the man Dolphinier, best man in business. My man Michael K. Can't forget the sister soldier, Miss Nene in the building. Kevin Dorsey, Fins Up 74.
I got Horace.
Remember in the memory, Horace. Don't forget you, Dolphin Don. All right, now that we got
Bobby Digital Sports, good to see you, Bobby.
Yeah, for sure. Now that we got that out the way, here's the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Larry K. What's going on?
What's up, brother? What's going on, man? Friggin' had some computer trouble in here, so it screwed up everything. But I'm here. Off my game, you know what I'm saying? Lucci, I got that package from you today. I appreciate it, brother.
Okay.
Yeah, man. We're just out here. End of the day, I mean, I don't know if anybody's been following what's been going on in the little YouTube Dolphins community space. You had TD Finstock and Omar Kelly had been going at it. Omar Kelly was calling him out for basically not having legit sources and just referring to him as some YouTube personality. TD fired shots today, man, firing back at Omar Kelly, talking about Omar Kelly, you know, is a little bit of has to play the coward because that's what pays his bills. But hey, welcome to the space, man. We are in the off season. We're in the middle of the playoffs, but we ain't involved. You see what goes on. You know, we got the Chiefs and the 49ers. Not very exciting in my personal opinion. You know, I was hoping for something more interesting. Chiefs and 49ers kind of boring to me. Yeah. But it is what it is, man. You got an elite quarterback in Patrick Mahomes, probably the most elite quarterback of this generation. And then you got on the other side, Purdy, who I didn't think had a very good game. I think the Lions made some really questionable decisions, as you could see on my reaction video. He made some very, very, very questionable decisions out there. And, you know, but Purdy, you know, one thing I noticed was when Purdy got under the gun, he was escaping the pocket, making things happen. Even if it wasn't pretty, that's still more than I think we've seen certain guys do. So, you know, kind of interesting to follow, man. But it is what it is. We're in the middle of the defensive coordinator hunt. I hear Anthony Campanelli has been interviewed. Frazier was the latest one to get interviewed. We're going to see. We're going to see who winds up with the job. But one of the main things that TD was arguing about with Omar was this. I don't know if you guys saw. Did anybody see this? I mean, TD talked about it today that what the hell's his name? Ron Jaworski fired back at Drew Rosenhaus and basically said that he's got connections in the league too, and he hears things too. And essentially, Jaworski said that, you know, from what he understands, there were certain players on the team, and he used the word that are currently whining. And these players didn't want to do what it took to work out properly, to understand the schemes properly, to you know, participate and have that extra zest to go the extra mile. And when Vic, who was an old school guy, wanted them to go the extra mile, he got a lot of pushback. And, essentially that's what's going on. Now, it's interesting because Lewis has been saying this all week, that it came from the players. I stick to my synopsis, and if you're a member of this channel, you get access to my written column. I broke it down. I think it's a little bit of both. I think the players didn't like him because it's a hard-nosed guy. They just got rid of Flores. They love the happy-go-lucky atmosphere. The offense gets to have a happy-go-lucky atmosphere, but the defense has a hard-nosed, old-school guy, so they want him out. McDaniel and Greer are going to go along with that because what else is new? And that's what drives the bus on this team. And further, I still think Vic Fangio, seeing that culture, seeing that acquiescence and fostering of that culture by Mike McDaniel and the organization, and seeing that maybe the Eagles were a little closer, those guys, there's a mutual thing why they both left, I think. AB says, didn't you guys want Lamar Jackson? Didn't you want Lamar Jackson? Yeah, I still want Lamar Jackson, okay? I don't care that he lost the AFC Championship game, bro. Didn't you want Lamar Jackson? Like, that's the first thing you do, bro, is like show up here. That's what you came up with. Didn't you guys want Lamar Jackson? Like, you can get to the Super Bowl, win 2 of them, and lose the third.
AB, you say he choked. I didn't say he choked. I don't feel like he choked.
And even
but
if
I'll tell you this, nobody wants to. The guy was under the gun. He was under pressure. Man, the line played terrible for him. But nobody talks about that. It's always the way it goes, man, with certain people and certain players. If the line plays bad for somebody, then it's the line. He didn't have time. But if it's for somebody you ain't rooting for, then it's all on him.
Listen, it's around the league. The line didn't perform for Lamar. I agree.
I ain't saying it ain't all his. I'm just saying that.
Look at who got the flame. It was Lamar. But if that was Tua, it's the offensive line. We need offensive line. And they're already out here on Twitter saying we need to draft Jackson Powers Johnson and whatever these offensive linemen. Tua was sacked 29 times this year. Stop with the BS off. It's the offensive line. It's Mike McGee's play calling. No, it's Tua tagging by little. This guy's a straight up bum. We're going to win 6 games next year. We're winning 6 games next year with this bum.
What do you think would have happened to Tua in Lamar's shoes with that team, that offense?
They probably would have put up a touchdown if that was Tua in that race.
Got smoked.
And I don't want to pay $60 million for a choke job, but
me neither.
For a choke job,
you want to pay me $60 million? I'll go out there and choke job.
So all I'm saying is, bro, it was interesting watching that game. I will say this, bro. It was evident and obvious that the D line for the Chiefs was vastly outplaying the O line for the Ravens, and vice versa. And I don't even, to the point that I looked up, are both lines injured for the Ravens? Because what is going on here? But to me, was just the result of a more determined, more disciplined, more playoff savvy team coming out, just like they did to us, just like they did to the Bills, and just like they did to Baltimore, just outplaying them on every facet of the field. However, Lamar Jackson throws a pass to Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is going in for the score, which will put him within 3, and he gets a fumble. But here's the thing. I'm not knocking Zay Flowers for that fumble. That was an awesome play by a determined team. That's Super Bowl
the timing for that guy to punch the ball, Snead, that was just a superb play by him.
And
Flowers did what he was supposed to do. He was diving. He had 3 guys coming at him. He dove. He had the touchdown. It was a perfect timing. The kid, when he mushed the guy down, that was a bonehead play, but that ultimately didn't affect because they still would have got in the end zone.
There's no excuses, bro. It's like, show me a play where Tua threw a perfect pass to a receiver like Zay Flowers, and he was going in for the score to be down by 3, and it was punched out by a defender. Show me that. And by the way, it's the AFC Championship game, and they were the 1 seed because they destroyed us, spanked us, turned us around, shoved something up, and threw us away. What do you want? Yeah. I mean, what are we talking about? Every time anybody loses now, you're going to tell me that you go to the Super Bowl, if Mahomes loses, you're going to be like, what do you want, Mahomes? He's a joke artist, bro. It's not the same. It's not even the same league. It's not even the same league. And Purdy, let me tell you something about Brock Purdy. Purdy boy. He wasn't even good. I don't even want him. However, even Purdy made some plays down the stretch to win the game by scrambling out of the pocket. I mean, what do you want?
With how much pressure he had. Look, with not only the pressure of being at home and getting your doors blown off, but also the pressure of it being the NFC Championship with all that pressure and down as much as he was and still didn't implode.
Right. Like
the guy that they're, hollering about supporting doesn't do that in those situations, man. He doesn't. He folds like a cheap suitcase.
And at the end of the day, Lamar threw a pick that shouldn't have happened, but it's like
that was
at least there was a QB on that team playing football who threw a pick at the wrong time after playing a game. With Tua in there against KC, we might as well not even take in the field.
Man, didn't have nothing. Didn't even smell the end zone. You had that one play that Tyreek said today. After that, did we even get close to the end zone? Baltimore got down there enough times to win the game. And just every time they got down there, something happened.
And it's just funny to me, too, because you got these people like AB. This is what they do. Like, we are mediocre. It's evident that we are not good enough at the quarterback position. And they don't try to actually argue that we are good enough. They just wait around for every better quarterback to eventually lose and then just try to say, see, there's nothing better. Like Lamar is still better, bro. Like he's still a better option, period.
Larry,
he's still a better option. What, Greg?
Watching those games this week, and I was like, man, I wish we had a quarterback and a coach and a team like those four teams. But I realized after those games, we don't celebrate Super Bowls. We celebrate Pro Bowls and passing titles.
Exactly, because that's what this franchise wants us to do. And here's my thing. I've been thinking about this too. You're not keeping the same energy, bro. You're just waiting for somebody not to lose a game and then pretending it's the same thing. Like just because two guys lose does not mean that they're created equal. Talking about Lamar and criticizing Lamar's game is not the same. It's not even in the same universe as criticizing Tua's game because they're not in the same universe on any level, bro.
Any level.
So it's a silly exercise. But here's my thing too that I was thinking about with this whole franchise, man. I don't care. Like, you know what I see? You see the delusional people who just want to say that everything's great because we have had the best season we've had in 10 years. And we're going to be like, bro, I don't care about that. That's just nonsense. But with the people that are actually critical of the team because the team deserves criticism for being an epic failure time after time after time. I see a lot of different waffling, different perspectives. Some people say it's Ross. Some people say it's Greer. Some people say it's Tua. Some people say it's the players who were soft. Here's one thing I was thinking about. One thing that ties it all together, bro. It's the culture of the organization. And when I say that, I say, what are the three? Well, I say four. Four most important pieces of any organization. The owner, the GM, the coach, the quarterback. I don't care which one of them you want to blame. One of them is a problem because it's my opinion, all four of them now, in some way, they share part of the blame because they all co-sign each other. They all have the same philosophy, which is be softer, be gentler, and rep stats and say, well, we had a great season for our fans. Next year, we're going to do a T-shirt giveaway and a Tua Tagovailoa photo op. Aren't you guys hyped? And the fans...
Boy, that Tua photo op, Larry, that'll bring everybody back.
They co-sign it.
All right, but it's season tickets will be on hold for 20 years.
Yeah. And, bro, they co-sign. It's funny because I was listening to the Finn's Tailgate from last night, this morning, and I'm hearing people say, Ali's out here calling out, all these Tuaneers that showed up to all the games, sold all the tickets. They all sold their tickets when it came time for the Buffalo Bills. But here's my thing. Here's what it says about people that are those Tua fans. If they truly believed in their dude to truly get it done, and they thought they were going to win a division title that day, they wouldn't have sold their tickets, bro. And then for the rest of the fan base that are true Dolphins fans who have some objectivity, who sold their tickets It looks like we know where their head and hearts are at because they knew we were struggling to have a chance to win that game. And I fall into the category of the second half, a true Dolphins fan who knows what's going on, because I told you guys when we lost to Tennessee that I saw it coming. Was I being pessimistic? Yeah. Was I crying like an emo baby? Yeah. But was I right? Yeah. Because I've seen it before. And I know I'm coming in hot right now because I've been, you know why? One, my computer was screwed up. I almost didn't get on here. Two, I missed my meeting with these guys earlier. Three, I've been watching a lot of Finn's Tailgate, and it gets nuts over there. And now I'm acting like this. And by the way, I've been watching all you guys out there fighting all the time. And I'm telling you something. No, I'm not going to say it because I'm going to wait to talk to Shake and Lucci and Greg about it because it's a good idea. And I don't want it getting out there and somebody stealing it. But
Finn's Tailgate. I never heard of that. Can you tell me more about the Finn's Tailgate? Who are those guys? No.
You know who fights on there, man? You got EM, you got Lewis yelling at this one, and you got them they go at each other. Nene goes on there, Color's on there. And Color's one of my favorites, man, because sometimes Color comes in with the most epic, like well-placed, well-reasoned, just burn. Sometimes Color comes in, and I'm just like, Color, I don't even agree with that. So it's like, you got everybody. Then you got Lewis just goes hard at everybody. But I'll tell you, EM, who's a respected podcaster out here and whatever else, I caught that whole thing with Lucci and all that, And let me just say that, well, Lucci's very passionate, bro. So is EM, meaning it ain't like EM stays on subject all the time. And I saw that argument. And Lucci was trying to let him finish. He wasn't doing the same. So I'm just saying I call balls and strikes. And I'll call balls and strikes on the fights that go on in this community, which is a little preview of what we're about to do. But anyway, I'm very agitated, as you guys can tell, because I'm sick of sitting home for the Super. I'm sick. First of all, if the Lions won, at least I could have fun at Super Bowl. And we're not in it too.
Yep.
And by the way, shout out to Adam. By the way, shout out to every single member in this building, official Fury Fam members. Join the Fury Fam. Click join. Click the join button. If you're in here and you are lost or you just dig in the show or you hate the show, hit subscribe no matter what. Hit subscribe and join. By the way, Super Chat's open too. We're trying to make something out of this lost offseason here. What do we got here? We got
Let me say shout out to Larry Frederick Dunlap.
What up, bro?
What
up?
Him, man?
We got AB, Lucci pretending to be Lucci. Wrong on the subject. You called him out. That's all. Man, AB been trolling it. I heard AB was on TD's channel today.
Yeah.
AB, like what's up with him? I mean, no, nothing wrong with getting called out, but when you go far on this channel with the the names.
Yeah, it's all water under the bridge.
I know, but I'm just saying. I had to weigh in on that.
Yeah, it is what it is. But my, just people.
Me and Lucci,
you go the first 5 minutes talking about me as a person. You're not saying anything about the argument. So, to me, that's just corny to me. And what miss me with any more debates with anybody about Tua. Because these people, they don't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
And it just is what it is. I'm sorry. We've all seen what we've seen, and maybe he could get better and maybe he can't. But we've seen what we've seen, and, it is what it is. There's no need to beat a dead horse.
No, I agree.
Like you say, they wait around and hope for another quarterback to fail that we would like to have, and then they feel like they have some ammo, like they come in gun smoking tonight. Oh, you ready, Lamar? Yeah, I'll still take Lamar. You kidding me?
Yep.
Every day that ends in Y, I'll take Lamar over Tua. Forget about it. It's the easiest question ever.
And here's an interesting thing that I don't want to just beat Tua dead horse nonstop, but it's just it's what's going to happen anyway. But I remember a debate that happened a couple weeks ago where the assertion was that Tua had regressed, and that was Lucci's assertion, and there was a lot of laughter at it. And I'll be honest, when you first said it, I didn't agree. I was like, how could he have regressed? But actually, now I forget because now it's been too long and I'm so freaking wound up. But somebody like a journalist, somebody actually put the numbers out there. And honestly, Tua, because he played less games last year, actually was looking like he would have surpassed this year's stats. And the running game it goes without saying that he was a better runner previously. So
Bro,
I'm not
there's a
saying
lot of
he
stuff.
massively regressed, but he regressed a little, maybe.
Well, he's regressed. He lost his run. And then what I didn't, and I come up here, this is a couple of nights I drink, I come up here and hang out. But when Lewis came up and when I said that statement, I said his Russian, and then Shakes pulled up his stats from year 1 to year 2, the Russian stats. But they were similar. It was a little bit more in year 2. However, what wasn't mentioned was the amount of games Tua played in his first year compared to his second, and the amount of times he didn't finish a complete game, the games he did start because Fitzpatrick came in. So when you look at the amount of games played from year 1 to year 2, and you look at the rushing yards, it's a glaring difference. There's substantially more in his rookie season.
And by the way, Kevin, thank you, because that's who said it. Kyle Crabb said it. And thank you, Kevin, for that. He said it. And look, bro, I'm a consumer of this whole community, bro. I watch Krabs, I watch everybody, and he does some good statistical discussions, and he's the one who said it. So I'm just putting that out there.
But again, and just real quick, Larry, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't look up stats and come on here and have my stat. Everything that I say is just based off of me watching every single game. And so I'm just, from what I see, is my opinion. So when I said he's regressed since his rookie season, that's just what I'm looking at,
Yeah, I get it.
It's simple and plain. It's not, because he'd have seasons with Flores where he took the back end of the season and we wouldn't lose until like the last game, where these past couple of seasons in this latter part of the season, he nosedives. I mean, he was injured last year, but prior to his injury, he was nosediving,
No, you're right.
That's what it is, man. He didn't have that fear in his rookie season. Just as a total, man, is all that, man. It's regressed. And if anybody else is watching, I don't know what you're seeing. That first part of the season looks great, but that second part, not so much,
No, I hear you. Shake, what were you saying?
Look, at the end of the day, I don't care what nobody says. When you do something out of spite, when you do something to try to prove somebody wrong, you put more oomph in it, you put more energy in it. And that's why I think Tua played better under Flores, because Flores lit a fire under his ass, and I think he's too comfortable. He's not that assassin that he once was under Flores, in my opinion.
Yep.
No, it makes sense, dude. It does. It makes sense. You're right. You're right, Shake. It's a good point. Look,
Bobby Digital, I agree with you. Stats sometimes, people say stats don't lie, but they don't tell the whole story. I'll tell you that.
Nene's got like the best presentation of sometimes. She just got her own style, which I dig, And I'm highlighting member comments, as you can see, man. It's part of the whole thing for membership. And you get some priority on the panel, you get highlights, and you get the written column, some videos for only us. Carrie D is always saying she's happy to be part of the immediate family. So check that out, man. I'm discombobulated, but I was just gonna say something else, and it was.
And real quick,
go for it.
Want to hear something funny? Is you ever seen the movie Falling Down?
Michael Douglas.
Hell yeah.
Classic.
Right. And what's funny is, when I first watched it, I'm like, this guy is an asshole. He's psychotic. And the older I get, the more I start to realize, no, he's not the asshole.
Bro, I agree. Yeah, now I'm like, I know why he flipped out.
Yeah.
Take it.
So I say that to say this. I'm gonna give a huge shout out to Dolphins Talk, and one of the main guys I love is Mike Oliva. When I first started hearing him, damn, this guy's so negative. Damn, this guy's a whiner. And now the more I see him, the more I see the Dolphins, the more now I'm starting to understand. Damn, Mike Oliva was 100% on, spot on what he was saying, bro. He wasn't being negative. He was just being objectively critical.
Yes. And bro, that's what we do here. And it's like, you guys have seen me And TD was talking today about like dudes who clout chase, you know, trying to say what the fans want to hear and this and that, bro. On this channel, we stay objective. And, you know, and I'll tell you this, bro. Here's a couple things I want to put to rest right now on tonight's show, right the hell now. Number one, like you could speculate all you want. We could talk hypotheticals. That's what fans do about what other QBs we could bring in, this and that. But let's just face it, bro. Tua is the QB next year. Greer's the GM. McDaniel's the coach. That's it. Like, let's be real with ourselves, okay? Let's just be real. Number two, let's stop with this casuals versus non-casual. Like, I don't care who you are, bro. I don't care how many hours you put into film. I don't care how many hours you put into video making, bro. I don't care. If you don't have a day job, you sit home all day making YouTube videos, bro. I don't care if you fly by night, hop on at 12 a.m. and spit some off the dome, bro. Either way, we're all casuals. The only people that are not casuals in this community, which is a community of hobbyists and sports fans who like to speak to each other, the only people who are not casuals are literal former players or coaches who literally studied and made a robust living off of the game and then want to tell us about their expertise, which is the game of football, which they professionally played. Okay? So stop with the, you're a casual, bro, everybody's a casual. And I have more respect for people who admit they're casuals. Let me tell you something straight out right now. I'm a casual fan, bro. I might be more dedicated and hardcore than some other people because let's face it, with the help of TD, by the way, who put me on very early, who then, because I was on TD's channel live every week, I then met G here, who's now the assistant GM, apparently, and Shake Money, who then came on, and then I met Lucci and all these other awesome people who are in Fury Fam who are currently in the comments. All of you make the family what it is. But he put me on, so even though I'm very casual, I still built a hell of a platform here, and we're still growing. And click subscribe if you want to help us grow more. We don't clout chase. But let's get one thing like out of the way. Everybody here has a perspective and an opinion, and everybody's entitled to it, and no one's 100% right 100% of the time. But we are all casuals up here, and that's just how it is. Cap, I love you, bro. You're one of the first supporters who was here every damn time, bro. So I'm just saying, like, no one's going to outdo somebody else. Like, oh, I watch this much film. Bro, you know what I do? I go out into the sphere. I read everything the actual journalists try to put out there, like Omar and Poupart and all that. Then I consume, like, there's talented dudes like Doug. Doug puts out like talented film breakdowns. Like Doug really does go after this thing. Like Doug might be a casual fan, but he's not a casual YouTuber. You feel me? Doug is a professional YouTuber, okay? He puts out content that he puts work into. So I study him. But then I also listen to all the perspectives from everybody else. And Adam, thank you, my brother. From everybody else out there. Like some of my favorite dudes don't even have channels, just appear. Like Lewis, Nene, all these heads, even EM, all these people. I listen to them. And then I form my opinion based on those things. On those things. And it's funny. I know I don't chase ambulances on the side. I investigate large-scale white-collar criminal enterprises.
72 don't ever disrespect my guy.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I want my money now. It's my money and I want it now type of lawyer.
And before that, I was one of the toughest. I was in one of the toughest cities in America in the courtrooms dealing with violent criminal offenders in Newark, New Jersey, Essex County, New Jersey. Look that up. So,
and by the way, one of the things that Mike Olivier said that I agree, he was on Steven. I gotta send you the show, bro. He was on Cloud Blockers Monday. Olivier was spitting straight fire. So you gotta. But the one thing he said that was that I co-sign on is that the fact that Cap for Life is one of the Mount Rushmores of YouTube supporters of channels. He supports the Finn's Tailgate. He supports the you name the channel, he supports it, man. This guy is a pillar in the community. Chef Drew's another one.
Hell yeah.
That's Adam Sadowski, Dolphinier. You know, there's too many to name, but just off the top of my head, even Q, who's a Steeler fan, supports a lot of Dolphin content. So
Q's that dude, bro. He's a member of this channel, yo. I love that dude. So,
man, there's a lot of people, but yeah, I definitely agree that Cap for Life is an awesome human. As far as a supporter with channels, man. As a matter of fact, he was my second guest in the blender.
Yeah, bro, I know. Like, and I remember that whole show. I watched that whole show. I was so hyped when he came on in the blenders. Like, here's my thing though. And when I say we're all casuals, I'm not saying that derogatorily. What I'm saying is like everybody's on equal footing, and anybody who wants that platform, anybody who wants that, attention or that, energy and people to pay attention to what they're saying, all you got to do is hop on one of these panels that everybody opens up for you and just be articulate and shine yourself and stand out amongst your peers. And all of a sudden you're going to get a reputation in this community. And this community is not just a, YouTube based whatever community. This is Miami Dolphins fandom. This is the fans of the Miami Dolphins. And one thing Cap just said was casuals are not casuals anymore. You know what I love about that? I know what he means by that. And he's right. It means people that used to be silenced, that used to be relegated to the sidelines, that used to have no real voice except hiding, behind anonymity on message boards and didn't have a voice, now all of a sudden have their voices amplified by people on a larger scale like TD, like Doug, like the Finn's Tailgate, on a smaller scale, people like this channel right here and myself, and everybody gets to throw their perspective out there and somebody's paying attention. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. So I'm just saying that to say my piece on that subject, man. Like, bring up substance when you argue, bring up points. It doesn't have to be a winning argument every time. It's just part of the fun, but no one's opinion is better than anybody else's. And when it comes to, because the TD Omar beef going on, sources, let's just keep it 100. If you're a huge YouTuber, you're starting to get plugged in a little more because they consider you almost like a member of the media. But unless you're a huge YouTuber and in general, journalists with the credentials who get in there, who have old connections going back 20 years, they're going to have the best source of information. But they might not always be the best source for interpreting that information. That's what everybody is capable of doing on their own. So that's all I'm saying, man. And you want to open it up, we should get the panel on here and just get...
one thing I do want to address, though, unfortunately, in today's climate, it's the one thing I realized when they say, "Oh, you need an expert," but if you think about it, who's committing all the legal malpractice? Guys who pass the bar, medical malpractice, guys who are doctors. It isn't the casuals that they're committing these malpractices. So at the end of the day, I don't care if you're a journalist, a judge, a doctor, a lawyer. If you don't have good ethics, if you don't have integrity, that don't mean nothing, bro. All I gotta do is watch you and watch your track record to see what kind of dude you are, what kind of history you have. Because at the end of the day, you're pushing for this, you're pushing for that, right? But why are you pushing for this? Right. Are you trustworthy enough to, when you say something, we could be like, okay, yeah, if he says it, you know it's true. Like Poupard, I could be off, but I agree. I like what Poupard says. I love
Poupard, bro.
Poupard, David Hyde, yeah. Armando Salguero.
Yeah,
those are the guys that put their feet to the fire and not sugarcoat anything.
No, you're 100% right, and I gravitate towards those dudes, and I agree with you with the names you drop, bro. Like, it's obvious who's getting like legit source material and actually discussing it objectively and actually has a good head on their shoulders with all that stuff. I agree with you, bro. And by the way, to your point, you're 100% right, bro. There's lawyers and doctors out there that aren't good at their jobs, that that are up to nefarious purposes and things like that. So just because you have a title or just because you have a background doesn't make you the be-all, end-all source. Like, you can be a reasoned, objective, intelligent individual who can look at something even if you haven't done it professionally and interpret it, So that's why this whole dismissing people as, not equipped to render opinions is just silly to me.
Hey, Tyrone Hall. A shout out to Tyrone Hall.
I've seen him come on here.
Put some respect on Skylar Thompson's name.
Bro, you don't even know about Pete. The stuff he's been saying. I'm not even gonna repeat.
I don't know if he's serious, but I'm telling you, all I heard last season was when Skylar was in there doing his thing. If Tua was here, we'd be. If Tua was here, we'd be. Skylar gave us a hell of a better playoff game up in Buffalo against our hated rivals than Tua did. And we won the same amount of games in them last part of the season as we did with Sky. They were 1-4, both of them. But I had a better time watching Skylar than I did too. I'll tell you that.
After the 49ers won that game, bro. Me and my dad were talking about it. Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy have embarrassed Mike McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa.
That's a good point, Greg. What do you mean by that? Elaborate, because I know what you mean, but I don't know if the people know.
Because Kyle Shanahan took a 7th-round draft pick, Mr. Irrelevant, went to back-to-back NFC championships, now a Super Bowl, and to a 5th-round draft pick, Mike McGeek coming over from the Niners, and they have gone on the wild card twice. And Mike McDaniel made Skylar Thompson look worse than Brock Purdy. If you flip-flop Skylar and Brock Purdy, the Skylar Thompson and Purdy, if you flip-flop them, right, Skylar would be in the Purdy position going to 2 NFC championships and a Super Bowl, while Brock Purdy is on the bench.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I don't see anything from Purdy's game, Greg, that makes me think him in and of himself is carrying that team. Nothing.
But I'll tell you something, and the slight difference, and I'll give is, who was it, Jimmy Garoppolo? Who went out? Who was the quarterback over there before Purdy came in?
Oh, Trey Lance
against us.
Oh, who? Trey Lance?
Jimmy G. I think it was Nick Mullen or somebody. However, if it just say Jimmy G, they had the playbook drawn up for Jimmy G. Brock Purdy is really a carbon copy of Jimmy G. As far as, it's really nothing special, but they could get the job done. With Tua and Skylar is 2 totally different quarterbacks. So the playbook for Skylar, it was already just a whole playbook for Tua. So Skylar had to try to play Tua's game, to his defense. I don't think we really got to see something that was drawn up for Skylar and what he's good at.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I don't think he had a fair shake. And he did okay with what he had. He did, like I said, I enjoyed that Buffalo game. All of us were all to the end of the game. We didn't feel like we were to the end of the game when it was over. And McDaniel couldn't get that call in quick enough. And that's kind of when we were deflated. But it was at the very end of the game. This Kansas City game, shit, man, I lost interest. I knew we were going to win, I was Journey, don't stop believing the whole time. But I knew it was over. I didn't have it. I wasn't on the edge of my seat like I was when Skylar was at the helm against Buffalo last year in the playoffs. And if somebody says something different, then that's cool for you. It's just everybody's wired different. But can you agree that last year, that playoff game, it was 30-something to 30-something, if I'm not mistaken, or 30-something to a high 20-something.
I would be curious to see, it's interesting because in this day and age, and it's more so in the NFL, like you almost never see it in the NFL anymore. In college, you rarely see it, and it used to be much more common, just same as every other position. Just because a quarterback's struggling in a game and you take him out and plug in a backup isn't like the end of the world. But we live in a world now where no starting quarterback is ever pulled because it just creates so much controversy. And the reason I bring that up is I'm not saying that overall and, analytically and everything else that Skylar Thompson is a better quarterback than Tua Tagovailoa. However, in that particular game, you were getting absolutely nothing nothing from Tua in that offense. And maybe, I don't care if it was Mike White. I mean, maybe you should try a quarterback change. It doesn't mean you
the thing
bench
that happened
Tua for
with
the next
Flores
game.
ruined that, Larry. That's why. I'll tell you right now why. That whole thing with Flores, the way, because everybody says he ruined Tua he ruined his confidence. He'd take him out and he put Fitzgerald in, and he ruined his confidence. So if Mike McDaniel, God forbid, was to do that, and then Tua, it would be all over again. Oh, here we go again. He can't get a fair shake. The kid can't, even though he's been failing the whole second half of the,
A good point. I mean, it is.
But that's why they wouldn't do it, Larry. That you can forget about it. As long as Tua's there, that'll never happen, unless they pretend like he's hurt.
No, you're right, because at the end of the day,
some type of justification. If it's other than if they did it because Tua's playing bad, legitimately, like you're saying, and it's not the end of the world. You're not feeling it. It's too cold, whatever. Let's see. It's all about team, right? It's all about team. So let's see. Let's just give this guy. Skylar Thompson played in Kansas State. It's cold. Last time I checked, it's freezing in Kansas. No,
it is. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's
from Missouri, like northeastern Missouri, where it snows all the time.
Come on, man. He's had time playing in cold weather. The kid's probably used to playing in that type of weather and maybe could have gave us a shot. But you can forget about it with Tua because that happened with Flores, with the Fitzgerald. It's over, No,
and that's the thing is, bro, sometimes a team plays with a spark just because of the changeup. And like you're not going to hesitate to pull a defensive lineman who's struggling, an offensive guard, a running back, a wideout. So of course, though, you're not going to pull a starting quarterback like we probably should have, because maybe we live to fight another day. Maybe Tua does better the next week. It just, I don't know. It's just So my point is, I'm not saying one's better than the other. I am saying I agree with you. Last year's playoff game was more entertaining and we had more of a fighting chance. And for whatever the reason was, I mean, it was very cold in KC.
Yep.
I mean, it was very cold. I don't know if that's the reason, but it was very, very, very cold. So it is what it is. But I just want to say, man, when we're watching Tua,
it wasn't that cold. Hold up, Larry. It wasn't that cold for Tua because he couldn't get it, or the offense as a whole. They couldn't get a first down. They spent a lot of time in them jackets by the heaters. It was very cold for our defense. Our offense spent no time in the cold. They were bundled up the entire effing game, bro.
That's true.
About it.
Hey, Larry.
Yeah.
I'm going to say two quick things real quick. Number one, man, do I miss Brian Flores. I miss Brian Flores with a passion. None of this BS will be going on. And number two, I don't know if anyone's seen this clip on Twitter, but I quote tweeted it. Jed York, owner of the Niners?
Mm-hmm.
There was rumors going around about him selling the team and all this. But I believe that in that clip, if you see it, he was talking about like stepping away. He's going to let the new GM and the new coach do everything. So what does he do? He go out and get John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. Stephen Ross said the same thing in his press conference. And what does Stephen Ross do? He meddles in the business.
Yes.
Tries tampering for Tommy. And then the Greer and McFlowers fight. He just didn't let him do it.
Bro, it's so true because I'm sick of hearing that. Well, he spends a lot of money, bro. He meddles. He talked to Brady on the boat. He started messing with Flores about throwing games. Then he had a big hand in hiring McDaniel. Don't tell me he didn't, because it's the same MO as Gase and Philbin, and it's the same thing, which is Stephen Ross's guys. And by the way, he's also the one who got on the phone personally with Deshaun Watson and said, we're not taking him. Stephen Ross, you just said it, Greg. He didn't actually ever step back. His fingerprints and his big ears and his glasses and his goofy general disposition are all over this team. It starts at the top. We know it, man. I'm sick of pretending. Like, I'm just sick of it. Look at him. Look at that grin. I don't care. Like, if you grin at me like that on a boat, I'm not coming to your team. But the only people that love it are these guys because they just love anything this team does. And I don't understand it. I want them to speak up and man up for crying out loud. And by the way, AB, Like while the rest of us are watching football, just enjoying it, having a beer, rooting for Tua, you're watching every other quarterback in the league counting their bad throws. It's sick. It's twisted. You need help. Okay? You need help. It can't.
And who knows? Maybe if Flores had his say, we might not have Tua. Man,
You really might not, bro.
If Brian Flores were to get another job, I'm gonna actually have to follow that team with a close eye on that, see what happens. Because
just see what happens.
I'm telling you right now, we probably would have been in the Super Bowl this year if we had Brian Flores. You give Brian Flores a Teron Armstead, you give him a Tyreek, you give him whoever else we got on defense. I miss him so much. If Stephen Ross would have just been like Jed York and stood out and sat at his New York, come down to games once in a while, and just stay out of them. This is gonna be the untold story of the what ifs that it goes on in this franchise. It's gonna be another what if story.
You're right. Everything in this franchise is a damn what if. I'm sick of it. I'm ridiculously sick of it. And I mean, I don't know why you'd be saying a kiss up to TD. I have a video on this channel where I'm fighting with TD. I don't even know what you're talking about. What does that have to do with TD, bro? Why is TD on your mind? We're talking about the Dolphins. You're either watching Lamar or TD. What are you doing? This is Larry K. Dolphins show. What are you doing? My goodness. I mean, what are we doing here? I just don't get it. Shake, how's things with you, bro?
Everything's good, man. You know me. By the way, we had CBA3 on Insomnia. It was a good show.
Mm-hmm.
This Sunday at 3:00 in the morning, we are talking with Stephen D.
Nice.
We're going to be talking about the quarterback carousel, and we got some we do NFL news. So you got a super chat. Thank you very much.
Nacho Fins with the $5 donation. Thank you very much. Says Ross's big ears crack me. I think he meant crack me up, but they crack me in the head because I can't watch this team anymore with what he's done to him. But Nacho, you're the man. I really appreciate the donation. That's why we're up here. We're up here to entertain. We're up here to give you guys a show. We're up here to give people a place to vent, to talk, to chill, to do whatever. So Nacho, you're awesome. Thank you very much for that donation. Get it started. Anybody else want to throw it down. Love you for that. Really, really appreciate that donation.
Man,
it's true. Ross's ears are hilarious. And I'll just give you one more just for the 5. Here we go. I got to get some new cuts of this guy. I got to get some new pics. You know, this one, he looks kind of too, like, a little bit swaggy with that tie. I got to get him something where he looks more goofy, you know. Maybe like him doing the waddle or something. Because that was a big hit.
Man, if I wish I could have been a fly on that wall in the 2020 draft, man. I wish I could have been a wall on the fly during all those meetings during the 2020 draft.
Bro, imagine, like, I would imagine getting, like, tape of that was recorded. Imagine that.
I was trying to hack into their Zoom and say, and I was trying to hack into their Zoom because he had the Zoom bombers and because I didn't want to at the time. I was trying to hack in and be like, Herbert, be a Zoom bomber.
Oh, that's right. That was the Zoom draft. What a weird time in this.
And if we're going to be real, the COVID virus, Larry, that ruined this franchise with all those picks, and we took all these bums. Tua hasn't really worked out yet. Has good stats, but we haven't won much. Austin Jackson, It took him to his 4th year to work out. But now he's out of here.
Finally.
Raekwon Davis hasn't panned out really yet. And you saw Flores' reaction during that pick.
Well, here's my thing. What I don't understand. You got a guy like Raekwon Davis. He's a nose tackle.
Yeah.
Then you start running a defense where you don't really have a true nose tackle.
Yep.
Then you move on from that DC. Like, dude, here's my thing with the Fangio thing, bro. Like, I don't care how you slice it, right? So if Fangio is too hard-nosed, then your players are soft, and then I question your philosophy. If Fangio left the team because he thought they weren't going to get it done, then that's an indictment on the team and the management and the trajectory of the team. If Fangio was not the right fit for this team, then why the hell did you hire him and make him the highest paid DC in the league? Like, what is wrong with your background checking?
He's been preaching all year. I don't have everything I need.
So when they meet with him, Greg, what went down where they thought this is a home run hire, going to have to pay him more than anybody in the league if it wasn't a fit?
In their meeting at the end of the year, Christopher Greer says you have to use Tandle, you have to use Cam Smith, two guys that Fangio didn't use because we're negative 41 in cap. We're not going to be able to get you everything you need. So Fangio and TD, this is where I got this theory from TD. He was saying, you got to use Tindall, you got to use Cam Smith, two guys who you didn't use. And Fangio was like, you know what? I don't want any part of this. And he quit. He quit. And they just put it as mutual parting. And now Fangio's with the Eagles.
That's definitely what happened. He quit for a myriad of reasons. And some of the players also didn't like him because he was too hard on them. So now it's like a mutual parting of the ways. But, we're going to funnel through our sources, through Drew Rosenhaus and Twitter, that we didn't really like him anyway because he sucks anyway. Just like Flo. Flo was like, bro, this dude had me on a boat trying to talk to Tom Brady, and he was trying to pay me to throw games. And by the way, this kid Tua ain't it. And they were like, we don't like that guy anyway. He's mean. He can't work with anybody. Then you got, guys like Big O. Now, Big O, he's the YouTuber and the journalist. But, man, that guy is connected to that front office like I've never seen.
Oh, I stopped watching the Big O. I watched his content when the 1-7 year. And then once he started preaching the fire Brian Flores and all this nonsense, I'm like, you're kidding me. We're not firing Brian Flores. So then I stopped watching his content. I'm not watching this content because it's just not the content for me when you're just going to, I don't want to use the word poo. We'll say poo. I don't like when you poo on a coach that we just hired. I believe it was his third or second year, one of the two. And Flores had a massive contract. I'm like, we're not firing Flores.
And we did. That's how you know Big O's connected to the damn thing. Even your boy Joe Shad, Greg, started going. I got to get a pick of Joe Shad for this cast. I got to get a whole cast of characters to throw up on the screen when needed, bro. That's what we got to do. We got to do it. And then we got AB. He's saying that Flo is a snitch, a rat. So, yeah. AB, man. One thing about AB, bro. One thing I know about him.
AB ain't. That's one thing I agree with you. AB. There you go. I'm with you. I co-sign that. Circle and stamp and approved by Lucci.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, you know what they say.
Something about you, like
what goes around comes around. They ratted him, so he's gonna throw them under the bus too.
That's what happened.
I don't know if they ratted him. They said what he said. They said, and
they did all these hit pieces on him, just like they're doing Vic Fangio right now.
Yeah. I don't know that it's so this is what I say. And I'll say it. This is the last time I'll say it. If Brian Flores, because what he said was they insulted me, I have an integrity to the game, and how they approached me and the approach they were taking was insulting to my integrity to the game. I salute that and I support that. If you have in any way, shape, form, or fashion in life, if you have a code or a set of morals that you stand on, and someone infringes on those morals and you stand up for yourself and it costs you your job or whatever, I salute you and I support you 100%. However, if you don't stand up when it happens and you ride the wave and as long as you're benefiting and as long as you're receiving money, you're willing to bend and discredit your character and bend your morals as long as you're, receiving benefit for it. But then the minute you get fired is when you have a problem. Now you're all power to the people. And, they insulted my integrity for the game. Now, you didn't say that until they said, the guy was hard to work with. Now, if he'd have said it right away and he'd have threw us under the bus right when it happened, strike me dead. I would have said, hey, man,
here's my thing with that. Here's my thing with that, though. Here's my thing. He did, bro. Like he didn't compromise his morals. He won games. He said, no, I'm not doing that. and he stood his ground from inside the system. He didn't have to walk off the job so somebody else could tank. He stood fast, and that's why he got fired.
And secondly, hold on.
If somebody gives me an order, I'm not just going to do the right thing. Disconnect. Fire me, shit.
But this is where the disconnect, because at the end of the day, there's a documented email after that incident. He sent to he emailed a couple of people, executives, about that gripe he had about Ross. So they didn't go through with it. So at the end of the day, they're like, okay, if they, let's say I offer you something, I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. So they're like, all right, you know what? I'm not going to do it. Or I found we're not going to do it. But the second, you're like, yeah, but okay. But they go, hey, look, we didn't do what we did. But the second we get a chance to get him, we're going to get him. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I just look at it like he's a Candace Owens, you know. He's in that. I won't even get into that, but he's a Candace Owens. We got somebody who says racism doesn't exist in America and everybody's got a fair shake and quick to talk down on the community, her community. But, you know, a lot of people don't know that she sued her college for discrimination when she was. So, you know that it exists. But once you got put into a little bit of a, then you're willing to talk down on your community and say that it doesn't. And he's that type of person, you know.
And
it's just is what it is, man. For me personally, both ways. If you got to stand, you take your stand. The fighting inside the system and all that other stuff. It's not like he's in this thing that he can't leave. You got to say what you got to say. You say it right then and there, in my opinion. And so when they're trying to do backdoor stuff and he's not willing to go with what we're trying to do, be it right or wrong, are they lying by saying he was hard to work with? Just at a base.
Yeah, but so put it this way, bro. Put it this way. If they have a conversation and he's standing up for what he believes and says, I'm not doing it because I'm not compromising my morals, then you get fired and they say he was hard to work with because he wouldn't compromise his morals. Aren't you going to come out and say, well, this is what they wanted me to do. This is why I'm hard to work with. They were trying to get me to do this.
Bingo. Because look, in Pittsburgh, he's not hard to work with. He wasn't hard to work in Pittsburgh. He's not hard to work with in Minnesota. In 15 years, he wasn't hard to work with in New England. Why is he all of a sudden in Miami? He's hard to work with. Why is he all of a sudden hard to work with?
And don't you hold on? And the
terrible examples because I'm going to tell you why it's a terrible example. And if you say I'm wrong, I'm wrong. A head coach has a lot more say so than the defensive coach. Or what was he even in New England? He was a linebackers coach or something way down the trough.
He worked his way up.
He did work his way up, sure. With an organization known for cheating. Or am I missing something?
No, do you think Bill Belichick says that we're going to he goes to everybody and lets them know they're cheating?
Patriots not been popped for cheating on countless occasions. And was he not present in that organization at some facet, whether it be way down the trough or further up before he left? Was he not involved in that organization the entire time?
That's a fair point.
But he wasn't involved in that cheating scandal. He had nothing to do with it.
Right. He wasn't involved, like, named in the cheating scandal. Like, that was
okay. He said, you know what? He goes, hey, listen,
hold on.
That's how Bill Belichick does it. But when I get my organization, I'm gonna do it my way.
So furthers my point to what I'm telling Shakes. It's a bad example to use him that he wasn't hard to work with in New England. Because like how
about Pittsburgh? How about Minnesota?
He had nothing to do with it.
How about Pittsburgh and Minnesota? How about Pittsburgh and Minnesota? He had no issues in those organizations.
Here's my thing too. Just to
he's
clarify,
a peon over there too. He's not the head coach.
No. So why is all of a sudden Vic Fangio hard to work with? Why is this coach hard to work with?
Listen,
now it's the goalpost moved.
This is why I don't want you to get confused, Shakes. Pardon me, Larry. 1 second. Shakes, I don't want you to get confused with this. I agree with you. I'm not okay with how they slander. I'm not. I think personally, Mike McDaniel is a huge problem. I've never been to Mike McDaniel. I haven't been this entire year. Even when we won 70, you could run the tape back and watch the show after. where I said I'm going to be that guy, bro. I'm not. I haven't been a Mike McDaniel. I think Mike McDaniel is a problem. Chris Greer, as much as I support him and everything else, I agree with you, man. He's a cornball when it comes. I don't like the way. I don't like the way he handles it. I like the way he drafts. And some of the free agents he's brought in, I co-sign all of that. But I'm with you, Shakes. I don't like the way they handle people. I don't. I don't. Personally, I don't. I'm with you. So I don't want you to feel like I'm disagreeing with you there at all.
No.
And screw the whole Flores thing. You know, I agree with you, Shakes, 100%. I don't like how they do people when they leave. It's bad taste. You know, that's not the way. If you know, it's not the way you handle business. So I agree with you. I don't want you to feel like I'm disagreeing with you there. You're right.
Quick point,
I'm with you.
Clarification. First, Cosa Nostra says you do what the employer wants, bro. I hate that mentality in every way, shape, or form, bro. You got to stand on your own 2 feet, man. I hate that nonsense.
Yeah,
bro.
I'm not.
And if any one of these dudes who are members of this channel blindly agreed with me all the time and all that, like they wouldn't even be on this channel because I don't even know. And I love you, Cosa. You're awesome, dude. You're good. I'm just saying I disagree. Now, I read the racism part of that, and I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but the racism part of that is how I read it was more interesting than most people read it, which was like he was suing the Dolphins and all this. He was suing the NFL because of the Giants interview and basically that Rooney Rule where, you know, he was saying that he was essentially being used as a prop by bringing him in and going through that song and dance of interviewing him for the Giants job because he got that text from Belichick saying it's yours, and it wound up going to Dayball. He was suing that, like, it's an insult to our integrity and professionalism to drag us in just for these token interviews without actually giving us a shake. Whether that's justified or not is another conversation. I'm just saying that is what I got from that lawsuit. We don't have to go down the rabbit hole, and you both make good points. And everybody's going to have their opinion on Flores.
Yeah, for sure.
So it is what it is.
Hey, B, you ain't going to see those head coach interviews for Flores for a long time. Because listen, and I'm going to tell you why you're not. And I've said it before on this channel, everybody cheats a little bit, bro. And Larry always says some just do it better than others. Everybody, if anybody in this chat, if you think there's one of these 32 teams that are square business and don't cut any corners, you could have played in What's Eating Gilbert Grape and did Leonardo DiCaprio's part, because everybody cheats. I'm sorry. When there's that much money involved in any aspect of life, there's cheating going on, bro. And nobody wants somebody who's a whistleblower. You just don't do it. Flores knew if he would have stood on his square, if that's really the man he is, and he would have said from the beginning, I don't want you, and he just said, that's it, I'm out of here. And he'd have stepped back and he'd have left the organization at that time, because what is he going to say? He's got to give it up all football, because the only thing he could say is they're trying to do things. He'd have to rat right then and there. Instead, he waited until that they took some shots at him, not saying what they did was right or fair. You know, they did, and they had to do what they had to do to make it seem like it was logical, instead of just saying, look, the guy, he's in, you know, he'd have had to sacrifice everything. He'd have had to pull a Muhammad Ali, you know, because ultimately that's the guy. You know, this guy sacrificed the world title. He made a living out of fighting. He gave up everything. When they were trying to make him do something that was against his core beliefs, he gave it all up. He's the greatest, and that's why he's the greatest ever. There's nobody else that did it. Don't you dare get on here talking Colin Kaepernick, you know, because he didn't take a knee until he got benched. You know, all that injustice he took a knee for was happening when he was playing in the Super Bowl. He didn't take a knee then. He waited till he got benched. He did the same thing Flores did, basically. Muhammad Ali laid it all on the line, world title at the prime of his career. And when he sacrificed them 3 years, came back, he didn't have his legs anymore. He gave it all up for what he believed in.
My thing
There's a prime example of what giving it all up means for
Kaepernick was just sitting on the bench. He wasn't doing anything.
Wasn't doing anything.
And then he fell into it. But my thing with that whole situation is, like, I've heard Kaepernick talk about different things he talks about, and he just comes across to me as somebody who like doesn't really know the issues, the nuanced issues. He's just jumping on a whimsical protest movement. That being said, he spoke to somebody in the armed forces who said it would be more respectful if you took a knee. And then people wanted to say, we ain't messing with him. We don't want him anywhere near us. We're not supporting the league because he's taking a knee. And I'm all about the First Amendment. So to me, him taking a knee was his right, whether you could free to like it or not. But people were too much on it. That's just my read on that whole.
Yeah, it was.
I don't think he was about anything.
Watching. I mean, I don't. But I'm just saying personally, you didn't take a knee until you got benched. You know, there's always there's something that was into that, and
no, I get your Ali thing. I understand what you're saying.
You see what I mean?
And the difference between Kaepernick and Flores was Kaepernick didn't want to be a backup. Flores was willing to take a linebacker's job, a position that he knew was beneath him, just to keep coaching. He took a lesser role in the NFL just to keep coaching.
He wouldn't take it with the Miami Dolphins, so that's a bad example.
No. Dude, you think he's going to go from head coach to linebackers coach?
Do you think Colin Kaepernick is going to go from starting NFL Super Bowl quarterback to the backup to some Joe Schmo?
Yeah, that's
calling
a difference.
Kaepernick. They were calling Colin Kaepernick the next Steve Young. Go back and listen. I couldn't believe what they were saying. This guy was not.
I'm saying that's the difference.
And it just
Brian Flores was willing to take a lesser job.
Coordinators to catch up.
He ain't going to take a lesser job with the Dolphins. He wasn't going to take any job with the Dolphins.
Well, neither was Colin Kaepernick.
Not with any team, though. Flores took a job. Kaepernick didn't take no jobs.
Listen,
he
wasn't going to take a job at that time, you know. But then he wanted to have one. But by then,
and he wanted $10 million salary. He wanted $10 million off the rip.
Yeah.
So.
You know, it is. I mean, listen, Flores is a great defensive coordinator, bro. I didn't agree this. I thought as a head coach, he wasn't that great. I mean, I liked him. I liked the way he stood up for the players. I love that time at Cincinnati when they done that second dirty hit on what's his name, who ended up going to the Bears. What's the little guy that used to be a good returner for us? But he dropped every clutch pass that got thrown to him. Who?
Grant.
I can't think of his name. I'll think of it.
Grant. Wasn't his last name Grant?
No. I'll think of it.
Marshall.
But anyway, he was I liked him in an essence. But what I didn't like is Flores was the stark opposite of McDaniel. We start the season off lose, get in this big hole, and then that second half of the season, Flores was genius in adjustments. Grant, thank you, Jakeem Grant, thank you. Flores was genius and Belichick's always been good at that. So you could tell that it came from that and adjustments. And that second half of the season, we'd win. And then it come down to like that last game, but we'd be in so much of a hole that there was zero room for error in the second half of the season. It's kind of opposite nowadays.
Bro,
I like him.
I mean, he wasn't great. I'm still curious about that second season. The first season, he had no talent, but the second season, I don't know if it was Boyer. Then he took over the defense.
That's what I think happened. He took over he took over the defense, and they just didn't put it public and shout to him stark opposite of Greer and them, instead of saying this guy couldn't get the job done, so he just let him keep the shine and the benefit of the team. Look, let me just help you with the calls. Or maybe he did it like that. But you cannot convince me. And then after Flores left, you saw how Boyer handled the defense the following year. It was a debacle. It wasn't a shutdown, lockdown like it was that second half of that season.
No, it's
but
true.
There was games.
I just, it's interesting because, what really, if we all were get on the same page for a second too, what really kind of sucks in my opinion is, you had a guy with a hard-nosed culture. Sure, some people didn't like him. I get it. He didn't like Tua. I get it. However, imagine if the 49ers hadn't blocked McDaniel from being our OC under Flores, bro, because you're not going to get that production out of Tua that you're getting with Mike McDaniel. But the team accountability, the hard-nosed pressure, zero coverage defense, all that stuff you're not getting on the other hand. And it's like, imagine if Flores was allowed to hide. Remember that year was a debacle. We had Godsey and Studsville, co-coordinating. Imagine if that was McDaniel and everything else was equal.
Yeah.
And imagine if, bro, like instead of McDaniel babying Tua and everybody else, and really Tua's got to go to his, to Bevel to get a little bit of real talk. Imagine if, Flores was yelling at everybody, but then he could go to a safe space in the quarterback room with McDaniel, who's bolstering him back up, but there's still team-wide accountability. Like, that sucks, bro, that the 49ers did that, because imagine what could have been. Like, let's be real.
Come tell him. Yeah.
Best of both worlds,
Larry,
that was just the 49ers.
Wants to say what's up to you and Shakes.
Yo, what's up,
Yo, what up, bro?
Brother?
Good to see you, brother.
You guys doing good?
Yeah, man.
Good. How about you, man?
Nice. Awesome.
That's
Guys,
what's up,
see you,
bro.
my bro.
really quick. All right, y'all have a good week.
You too,
Good
brother.
to see you, bro.
All right, good to see y'all.
All right.
Amen.
That's my dude, man.
I thought that was Van Ginkel.
He's got the personality of Van Ginkel, determined dude, man. Good dude. I'd hate to lose Van Ginkel this year, but you know what I'm saying? Imagine that.
If I had to, as long as we have him, if we lose Wilkins, we better keep Van Ginkel.
Oh. I have
That's
a
what I'm
sneaking
saying.
suspicion he's on his way to Philly.
That's my son, Horace. We got to keep one of them guys, man. That'll be, if we lose Wilkins, the only thing that'll keep me from being super depressed is if we keep Van Ginkel. We got to have one of them two guys, man. They're really the pillars of our defense. Van Ginkel came on late, And like Holland, I've been a super huge Holland fan, but like this whole Vic Fangio thing, man, it's got me like, dang, man.
That was corny.
Yeah, what are you doing, man?
Corny, bro. Like bro, let me I've left jobs, man, and I may in circles, in private, you say like, yo, that dude did this, or I don't really mess with him because he did that.
But if another business asks you about it,
yeah, but you don't.
If you're going to another job and they say, well, why did you leave your other job?
That's one thing.
Me personally, I told my son, if you ever leave one place, and even though if they treat you like a dog, whatever, and that's why you left, when you go to your new job at an interview, you don't bring that up.
No, not the petty specifics.
Automatically,
I wasn't seeing eye to eye with them.
Yeah. Automatically, them people are going to think, well, they don't know what they did. Maybe if we just are like making him do his job, he's going to talk about us like that. If we have to tell him they don't. So it's never, just, be a professional. It's in a professional setting. Jesus Christ.
You know what was funny? Miss Finn's had Nick Needham's mother on maybe a couple weeks, a month ago. Season still had a couple games left. And I remember Nick Needham's mother kind of hinting too in public that they weren't feeling like, she was kind of like, oh, that's up to the coach. But, like kind of throwing that in there. So I don't like the whole pro. Do you think that would happen in a lockdown, like in a team with legitimate boundaries? Like all this getting out and leaking out, all this talk, it's too open, bro. I don't even Tyreek talking too much he's on like Twitch, like the day after they lose, just like, come on, man, the Finns are still it. Like don't like, bro, just, I don't know. You got to run a little bit of a tighter ship, bro. Like if he wants to talk to other football players at a dinner party, like, yo, we know, we're still don't give up. These fans, that's between him and them. Like if I talk to somebody and I'm like, yo, this is what this unit does or that. But you think I'm going to go on social media or talk to somebody and just be like, look what we're doing that. They ain't doing, like, bro, that's just, I don't know. Keep some professionalism in it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
By the way, you want to drop the link real quick for somebody to talk with?
Yeah.
I still believe Holland. Let me straighten that out real quick. I still believe Holland is going to be one of our all-time players. I just don't like.
I hope so.
That kind of turned me off. Like, man,
what's going on with Tyreek?
But he's young. He's a young kid, and some of these guys, Tyreek isn't young, and he's been in the business a long time. So I don't really give Tyreek a pass on.
Man.
But Holland is a young man. He's still really young. Who was I talking to earlier? Maybe Nene. about young men. People think because you're 20, 21 years old, they're in the league, they're grown. These guys are still kids, man. My son is 20. He'll be 21 in October. He's still a kid. You can't even rent a car till you're 25. Right. I mean, you don't know shit about about anything at that age. You think you do, and we act like we all forgot what it's like to be 20, but nobody really knows. I mean, some of them are kids, and I give the kids a pass. The ones in their 30s that have been in the league going on close to 10 years, and you've been not so much. You're a knucklehead at this point.
Yeah, come on.
But you're the ones that are supposed to be setting an example, showing these young men how to conduct themselves professionally. That's what we're missing, Larry, is that guy on our team, to show, mentor these young men and show them how to show them the game, how to be a professional.
True. And shouts to Michael K. He's in the chat, by the way. I shouted out a lot of other people. Nene, what's good?
Oh, no, I just kind of wanted to comment as to where we are. I just think, even in all types of jobs, right? Sometimes you conform to your environment. And, I'm not giving Holland a pass, but I always said that to me after I heard Kyle Van Noy's podcast. He kind of alluded that the troubles in the locker room was not Tua and Flores. It was Flores and Greer. That was the problem. And it was just easier for, Miami to pick up that story about there being an issue between Tua and Flo. He used the word power struggle that was going on. And at that moment, I kind of assumed like maybe they are micromanaging these coordinators with a lack of head coaching experience to do whatever they want them to do. And, you hear Costa down there, and everybody has a right to their opinion. But at some point, if you're in an environment that's not professional, right, you just don't go along and get along. Like if somebody's committing sexual assault or doing something like that, you don't just say, oh, I'm just going to go along and get along because the boss told me to. You got to have some type of moral fiber in you. And I think, not to be funny, that comes up with how you're raised and your upbringing on what's right and what's wrong. Maybe people were taught that in their home, that no matter what they boss do, you don't question it, so that's a cultural thing. But as in terms of the Miami Dolphins, I'm really intrigued to see what's next, right? Because now that you have this report going against what Miami media tried, and see, that's the difference between Flores' situation and Vic Fangio's situation. See, Vic Fangio, he didn't have to do a lawsuit. He has enough credibility in the NFL that someone else spoke on his behalf. And you heard
that was intentional too, Nene, because I was thinking about that too. He came out and said that was a planned thing, just like Rosenhaus was. That's a good point. Jaws came out on his behalf, and he came out strong. Have you guys heard that interview?
Y'all should.
You should.
It's a good one.
What interview was it?
Lucci. It's Ron Jaworski. Who was he on with?
Nene. I have to look at it again.
Who the hell was he on with, bro? He was on with somebody because TD put it up, but it's worth watching because he came out kind of hard, bro. Like he came out kind of hard.
Yeah, he came out hard, basically saying that these guys.
He did somebody, he's a pretty
Yeah, he came out for Vic is who, like he said, I know him well. Remember, Jaws is a Philly dude.
Yeah, so I know.
He came out kind of hard. He didn't pull any punches. I'm trying to see what he was on. Somebody was interviewing him, but you could tell it wasn't just off the cuff. It was like he talked to Vic and he was slugging.
All you gotta do, hey, just listen to TD's last stream. That's all you gotta do. Go to TD's last live stream.
Okay. Well, I kind of wanted to get to that because I see some people commenting.
It was on the radio.
What the point I'm trying to make is how they smeared Flores. They're not going to get away with that with Vic Fangio because they started it last week. Right, they started all of these reports start leaking out between the Joe Shads and the Big O's, and I like a couple of guys on 560, but even some of those guys on 560 start talking about it. But see, Vic Fangio got 30 years in the game of a respected NFL coordinator. He may have not been the best head coach, but you get my point. You're not going to be able to do to him like you did Flores. And I was sitting to see if it was going to happen. Because that's Miami's MO. Once you leave, you don't leave with grace. We got to find something to tarnish you to make it seem like it was your fault that we failed once again. And that's my thing about Greer. And a lot of people don't like that I speak out about Greer.
Aloysius Greer.
And personally, I don't care that you don't like. Actually, I talk about him more because we need to stop blaming the employees and start holding accountability to the bosses that make the decisions. Like I tell people when they fight about Tua and Mike McDaniel, and it's a little running joke right now, which I think is hilarious. I said they didn't hire themselves. They didn't draft themselves. Someone brought them there, and someone is keeping them here. So those are the people that I think personally it's all on how, you know, in the military, I don't blame my soldiers. I go to the person that's in charge of those soldiers. So that's my processing. And that may not be good for a lot of people, but if you have the same problem, you bring in this coordinator, this head coach, this coordinator, this head coach. If this doesn't work again, this will be head coach number 3. Like at some point, it's not who you keep blaming, even to some retrospects, because let's be honest, Miami Dolphins didn't have to draft Tua. The Miami Dolphins didn't have to keep bringing in lesser guys so he always wins the job. Remember Ryan Fitzpatrick, that some of 2-9 and some of the reporters like, it's not fair that he has a vet. And now they're crying that he should have had a vet so he learned how to be clutch. You see how people double use the narrative at first? I don't know if you remember that, Larry K., but there was a time that the fan base was mad and saying that, you know, he wasn't getting his opportunities because Fitz was in the way. But now, now that he's failing in key moments, and we bring up Purdy or we brought up Jordan Love in particular, well, he got to sit 3 years behind Aaron Rodgers. Like, come on, you can't have it both ways. So my thing is the Miami Dolphins have to do a cleanse. And I don't think just personnel, but who are the Miami Dolphins? Because let's be honest, this thing with Vic Fangio hurts them as an organization. They can't sweep this one under the rug because I'm sure he's been communicating with people on his experience. If I'm a guessing woman, I'm going to land my plane quickly here. Whenever he told a player to do something, they ran to Greer. And I'm sure Greer, for the most part, outweighed the decision. And that man got sick of it and left. I said it when it happened. I said, he's not going to be a one that you can bully like Mike McDaniel. I still believe a lot of Mike McDaniel play calling is because this is what the front office wants him to do. The front office wants Tyreek Hill to get that 2K. The front office want Tua to look elite. Even if that cost us games, this what you will do. And Mike McDaniel, he's low on the totem pole. He's not like Vic that could just go in the office and be like, I quit, and he has a job in the next couple hours. But I land my plane there. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Nene. I appreciate it. We're going to bring Mountie up. So, as always, good to hear from you. I'm going to answer what you said, too. End of the day, man, Nene makes a point there, which is, you know, that's what the front office wants them to do. And she makes a point that Vic and his camp is coming out swinging. And I'll tell you, if you listen to Jaworski's interview, bro, he didn't come out like, oh, they just hit him with a question he wasn't expecting. He came out swinging, which here's what it says to me. It says that if the players talking was just happenstance, was just casual, was just, you know, noise that's leaking out and no one really felt the need to pay attention, they wouldn't come out as hard back. What's happening is they see a concerted effort to tarnish his reputation and smear him. So that makes, at least he feels that way, that made them come out punching back like they were angry about it. And I got to be honest with you, bro. In organizations like this that are this huge with this much public outreach, this many people on payroll, this deep, they don't do things by accident. So somebody's behind the scenes pulling those levers, and it is somebody high up in the Dolphins, whoever it is. It's not like these players act completely on their own. I will just let you respond real quick to what I just said, Nene, because I realized I ran with your point, but then I want to bring Mountie up.
Well, yeah, and you know, you're going to read the comments that people think we got the 10-4 cap on But I just say use your common sense. Like, the Flores thing, we didn't have enough evidence to say yay or nay. It's an assumption, right? That he was a strict guy that was not going to be micromanaged by Greer or Ross, because let's be honest, he actually won something. People could call him or whatever he was, but he has rings, right?
Yep.
So he's not gonna, if he's telling, Greer, hey, this is what I need to do. And look at Glory to God to make a point, because the reports are very true that Big Fangio kept saying he doesn't have what he needs in order to run his part of the pie accurately. And this is why I get on Greer about his mismanagement of money, because you get these guys that's crying on these platforms, nay, we don't have no money. Well, who's responsible for messing up the account?
Yep. No, that's true. That's
the players didn't pay themselves, right? Well, he had to give them a contract, but I was like, as a manager, you are still responsible on how much you allot people, and you also consider the future. Like, you just don't give a whole bunch of people money and expect everybody to play on a rookie contract or give you a hometown discount. So my thing to Fangio, he looked at it and, see how they gave the little PR statement that it was mutual party. Then all of a sudden they tried to start smearing this man. And look what happened. He don't even have to say, when you got that type of cachet, you don't have to fight battles. Your brand speaks about yourself. Example, you don't see no commercials about Lamborghinis, right? But you see a whole bunch about Acura. It's a difference in quality. He didn't have to go out there and defend himself. His reputation is enough, and that's why he was able to get a job so quickly. And this whole, he didn't want to be here. Okay, then why did you hire him? Why would you hire someone that doesn't want to be a part of your organization? It doesn't make common sense.
And that's what I'm saying. No matter how you slice it, it's an indictment on the organization, period.
Absolutely.
Period. But yeah, so thanks, Nene. And at the end of the day, man, Lucci, that's the reason. That's what inspired my South Beach thing, because friggin' Jaws was on there saying, you can party a lot at South Beach, and it all started with freaking LeBron when he had to say, I'm taking my talent to South Beach. It was like, bro, South Beach, stop. And that's another, I digress, bro. That's another damn thing.
Hey, before you get cooked, mine gets cooking, one point I brought up was the fact that, look, when he agreed to be the defensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins, it was in principle. Nothing was signed, sealed, or delivered. Nothing was legible. If he really wanted to be in Philly, by the time he could have said, you know what, there's an offering, a better job just opened up. I'm sorry, I appreciate the offer, but I'm gonna go to Philly at this time because again, he agreed in principle.
Right. Good point.
So
bro.
he could have reneged. And because right before he signed the dotted line, the Philly job became available. So he could have said, hey, I'm not signing here. I got another job that's even better. And that's
happened before, bro. That's happened before. He could have done that. You're right. Mountie, what's good, bro?
Larry, Shake,
good, my bro.
Lucci,
what's up, man? Good to see you. Good to see you, Monty. Good, thanks.
Hey, man, listen, I heard y'all talking about this Fangio situation, and look, he's an old schooler. He's a straightforward guy. He's a straight shooter guy. The guy has developed top defenses, has made people all pros. And listen, I look, he's not. We're doing the same thing over again like we did with Flores. We're getting rid of the wrong guy. We need to get rid of the cancers, the guys that are not locked in and buying in and disciplined and ready to do what they need to do to perfect their craft.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's why when you're hiring these guys, when you're signing these guys, just like a job interview, I don't know how many of you have been on a job interview where you got 2 or 3 interviews where they want to really get a really good feel for your character.
Yes.
Character is everything, even more than your measurables and what you can necessarily do to the max. It's your attitude, your character, what you're willing to do, what you're willing to forego. And I get it. These guys get in the league and then they get big head. They're young, and they get a little bit of money in their pocket and they lose their sense of self. It's just like the self-control. And you forget about what's most important. Yeah, there's plenty of time to party and hang out. But look, you got to do what you got to do. We got to understand what the assignment is.
Right.
And we got to do
And
what
what
we
is
got
the
to do.
assignment? Right.
And then, for Snowman to say the kid rocks. I mean, dude, look, you got 3 interceptions in 3 years, bro.
Yeah.
I
And bro,
mean,
he was good most of the season, but he struggled the end. I know he had the knees. But at the end of the day, the whole team didn't get it done when it mattered at the end of the road.
He struggled with an injury, and that's unfortunate. However, if you look at all 22, look, he allowed Vic Fangio allowed his safeties basically to run free and roam the field, the
Right.
back half of the field. So he should have had more picks than that.
That's a good point. That's a good
So
point.
that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying. That's all. And then on this Tua thing, listen, I said this from last year when he got concussed on prime time in Cincinnati. What concerns me, not just more than what his measurables and his ineptness in that area, is his football IQ, his acumen. The dude rolls out of the pocket in Cincinnati. Waddle's streaking across the field wide open. He's got green grass, and you could have gotten at least 7 yards on your own. But you roll back to the guy who's pursuing you.
Yeah, Matthew, you got somebody whistling. You got like music playing. There's a lot going on over there.
But I'm just, saying, look, I don't. There's something. There's just some things that I think that Tua. Listen, he has to be tucked in at bed at night. Like it's too much hugging and kissing for me. I'm sorry. He's got to grow up and be a man and make self adjustments. Like last year, after the Cincinnati game, he came at the Baltimore game. Somebody's got to tell him to move around in the pocket to create better passing lanes for himself. You don't have enough common sense to do that? Somebody got to tell you to freaking do that?
Bro, it's also innate. It's an innate way you play the game.
I mean, somebody's got to tell you to do that?
Right.
Come on, Larry.
It's an innate way you play the game.
Oh, my God. That's why, listen, hey, look, I like Tua. He's a great kid, but he's just not for what we need. Because let me tell you something. He can't get drunk off his own wine, meaning he's getting all inundated with Waddle, the speed and the explosion in Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Defense has got 2 years, 3 years of film on us. They figured out how to slow this down a little bit. So basically to put some of that responsibility back on Tua to where he's got to make plays with his legs. Did you see AFC? You see this AFC playoff run? You see all these quarterbacks in our conference?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Man, listen, Tua need to step it up a step away.
No, I agree with you 100%. And I think it's at this point, my thing, bro, is like, he is what he is. And it's, I just don't know what else to do or say because we see, bro, we see the limitations. We see the positives. We know it's going to be hard to get to the promised land with that skill set. Now you better bolster the rest of the team and get the right coaches to make the defense dominant, to make the O-line ultra dominant. And it comes down to Tua's contract, some of these other guys' contracts, and who you have running things. And can we get it done? Because
listen, Larry, listen. If I can take you back to the Baltimore and Kansas City game, Baltimore's got one of the best offensive lines in the league, if not the best. Okay.
Yes.
Kansas City got a top 5 defense. Okay, and their front seven is formidable, and they don't even have missing some of their guys. Right. Now, did you see Lamar Jackson breaking tackles and evading tackles and sacks and things of that nature? I'm not saying Tua's got to do all of that. However, you got to do part of that.
Right.
I mean, dude,
Yeah.
we need to act like there's got the defenders on the other side get paid too.
No, 100%. And
They're
bro,
coming to get you. They're coming to get you. So you're gonna have to extend some plays, bro. Things are not, they're not gonna be wide open. And I don't buy that. Oh well, he's accurate, dude. Everybody's accurate when you guys are wide open.
Well, what I noticed too, bro, is not even just him, and he's known to be ultra mobile. Patrick Mahomes, and honestly, even though Purdy had some questionable throws, he got lucky. Him too. Both those dudes were finding ways to make something out of nothing.
Absolutely.
In the clutch, and that's a big reason they won the games.
Absolutely. And a 7th round draft pick. So Tua, if you're listening, I hope you're watching that game, bro.
Because it ain't even like Purdy's all that, but he made things happen out of sheer will when he needed to. There was some luck involved, but still, bro.
Especially like in the Buffalo game. Our defense gave us the ball back 3 times.
Yeah. No, I know that. And that's where the Buffalo game is where I really think that the chickens came home to roost and no one could hide behind the defense anymore and the injuries anymore, because the injuries were majority to the defense, and the defense came out and played much better than I would have anticipated. Yet the offense had absolutely no answers and never had answers really the entire stretch of the end of the season. And then, Mountie, we come back against Mahomes in round 1 of the playoffs, and even though Mahomes shows off who he is and escapes and extends some plays, our defense still made it a respectable game and kept it close enough, and our offense, once again, had absolutely no answers. And that's on Tua, but that's also on McDaniel, and that's on some of the other guys too. I mean, we just had nothing. And we had nothing at quarterback both games, bro. It's obvious. Like, say what you want. The running game was moving. The line was doing what they could. We had nothing at quarterback. Those games, I'm not saying the whole season. I know we played good earlier. But those games at the end, Mountie, we had nothing from the quarterback position.
Oh, well, don't say that too loud, Larry. You might get the 2 in ears. The 2 in ears to get on you, bro.
Yeah, on me already. Got AB. He stays on me.
Truth in public places nowadays.
Those Tua games,
especially when it pertains to Tua.
Yeah, the 2 in ears are out, Greg. You
know
but
I would hate for McDaniel. Clearly he's a very good play designer. Right. Okay. But I would hate for him to have to be stigmatized with a quarterback who's very, very limited. I mean, because if you look at their offense, Tyreek Hill and Waddle are basically, if you look at it, are essentially running option routes, and basically Tua's throwing where the defense isn't. That's essentially what he's doing. He doesn't really have to read anything. He's just throwing where the defense isn't. They're running option routes.
And bro, by the way, you see people in the comments now saying that the Ravens didn't have anything at quarterback this week, and it's like, yo, you don't have to be a football expert. You don't have to even be an intelligent human being. You just need 2 eyes, 2 ears, and a brain, bro. If you can't see what's going on with Lamar Jackson and those plays that happened against KC and how the game was different than what went on with Tua towards the end of the year, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's night and day. Like, stop comparing just because they had a bad outing and lost the game. It's not the same as how inept and hapless our offense looked.
Hey, Larry, can I be a homer for like 5 seconds?
Of course.
Well, you give Lamar Jackson, Jalen Waddle, and Tyreek Hill, he's a Super Bowl champion.
Right.
Period. With this offensive line, when his mobility, he's a Super Bowl champion.
And I mean, Flowers has been good all year, but that fumble, and that's not even his fault per se. But I mean, that was a touchdown, bro, and then that was going to be a 3-point game. Like, how can you? Yeah, the bad throw at the end, he deserves. I mean, he threw a pick at the end. I mean, that's terrible. That was bad. But he had a pulse, unlike Tua. He didn't have a pulse.
Yeah, Tua, and that especially what really killed us is that Tennessee game, dude. when that not even that, when he threw that pick and that receive, and I don't know if it was Micah Hyde or Poyer who picked that off when he threw that to Chase Claypool. He
Oh,
could have ran that. He was no rush to throw it.
Yeah.
that was Taylor Rapp.
And by the way,
Who
even if
was that?
Lamar had a bad game, bro, it
Greg,
doesn't
who
mean
was that?
Tua had a
AJ
good one.
Epinesa?
No, that was Taylor Rapp with that game-winning pick.
Like he pump faked the dude. I don't know how many of y'all had played basketball before. You head fake the guy, he leaves his feet, you can go around him.
Yep, that's how it works, especially
Like
in
my
basketball.
God,
Bro.
just go around him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know what else to say, bro. Like it's innate, it's limitations. He has attributes, he has limitations, and they are where they are. So it's like and saying that Jackson had a rough game and this and that, I mean, it doesn't change the fact that Tua had a bad game. I mean, what what are we doing here with this? Jason, what's good?
What's up, guys?
What's going on, man? What's on your mind? Nada?
It's nice to finally meet everyone.
Yeah, dude. What's going on?
Just had to come on and say that I'm a depressed Dolphins fan.
We are a good audience for that, bro. We are all depressed. I am anyway. I'm a depressed Dolphins fan.
Who's the depressed Dolphins fan when you got beer?
Way too much time.
You're right, Shake, bro. You got beer, so
talking.
you're all right, man. That's usually how I spend my Dolphins games, is drinking a beer or two or five, Keeps me sane.
Oh, I had during the Germany game, I was so frustrated. I was so angry. I have a high noon. I don't know if you guys. I chugged the high noon, and it wasn't even noontime yet. I had a high noon.
Juan Joe, my Gator brother, and wine.
This dude is crushing high noons at 11 a.m. This guy's nuts.
I was so
Hello, good evening, gentlemen.
What up, Bonjo?
High noon.
I didn't come up here for long. I'm just coming from the gym, about to have a glass of wine, and I had this beautiful New York strip.
Got you.
That's already been made. Hey, it's about to go up. It's actually a red blend. But I just came up here to say I bet if we had Lamar Jackson, we win the division at least.
Exactly.
Who want to argue that one? Anybody?
He was the number one seed. He killed us.
So I guess but right now, we walk away with not a team, no division, no AFC championship, no Super Bowl, no playoff win, not a team.
Mm-hmm. No, 100% right, bro. Like
for the
Lamar struggling in one game does not change anything about Tua or deficiencies or about him outplaying Tua and outplaying most of the league for most of the year. I mean,
and I keep hearing ABAB in the comment section love to come after me. Hey, you wanted Watson. Hey, you wanted Lamar Jackson. And yes, I will still take Lamar Jackson over Tua in a heartbeat. There, I'm saying it now.
We're all saying, bro.
I want Watson over Tua right now.
Everybody would. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I'd still take him.
And yes, with the money we paid, we got paid, I will still take him.
Hell yeah. But what you crushing with that New York strip? Just the strip on its own? You got some sides, bro.
No, I got some fries that I cooked up, so it's a little, steak and
like
fries.
That's my favorite.
Get some carbs. Today was leg day, so reload with some carbs. A beautiful red blend, and it's good to go.
How you eat it? How do you cook it?
Sear it on a cast iron.
You sear it? You just sear it, right?
Yeah, sear it on a cast iron. Throw some butter. Throw some butter in there, and you add some garlic, some rosemary, some thyme, and just butter baste it. Good to go.
I love it. I put a little butter.
Hey, Joe.
What's up?
Yo, you're a straight shooter. You my guy. You a straight shooter. Hey, all right, put it like this. Do we make Tua play on his fifth-year option, or do we move this dude this offseason?
No. Here's the thing. If you can move him, tell you the truth, I'll move him if you can and get what you can for him. Right? And I mean, if you could get a first or somebody wants him and they give you a first one, I'll take it in a heartbeat. Move him. But if you play him on his fifth-year contract, I mean, I say this: the team around him right now, right? He wasn't able to do it with the team around him, right?
Right.
I asked everybody the question: do you think this team is going to be better next year?
No.
With our cap situation,
it's gonna be worse.
I have us at 6 wins right now.
So here's the thing: if you can't do it with a better team, and it's a lesser team, and he couldn't even carry this team on his back. So what makes you think that he's going to carry a lesser team on his back? Is it possible? Is it possible? Yes. But I'd say it's going to be a no.
He doesn't have the attributes to play with lesser. He can play with us.
Yeah, so that's why I answered it that way. It sounds like hate, but it's not. It's just I have to look at everything logistically.
No, I definitely agree with you.
But
we got a couple of people in the back. Can I bring them up? Crypto and Kevin D.
Go ahead and bring them up, bro. We're gonna go for maybe another 15. Just let people talk.
Yeah, I just came up here for a quick second. Hey, man.
Bro, it's good to hear from you, Bonjo, man. I miss you coming up as often as you used to.
Hey, Bonjo,
to hear from
sure.
you, bro.
You guys keep doing your thing, and I'll holler at you guys, all right?
All right, brother.
Peace,
bro. Steak, man.
Hey, but I will say this. Knowing Greer, I think he's gonna shake the bushes and see what he can find. If he gets the right offer or the right situation arises, he could move Tua. He could move him.
I wonder if he will, man. That
would be interesting because
listen,
our offseason already started. They haven't signed anything, so what's the hold up?
What TD has been pointing out, which I agree with, it is doable. It's a matter of Chris Greer does it. You can trade Tyreek, trade Howard, trade Hub, get rid of Baker, get rid of Ogba, trade away Armstead or force him into retirement, pay Holland, pay Phillips, pay Wilkins, pay Connor, pay Hunt, and you go and you trade Tua and you go find your franchise quarterback. You will build around your young nucleus in Phillips, Holland, Wilkins, Connor, Hunt, your franchise quarterback A-Chain. TD's been preaching it on his channel. I agree with it. It's reasonable to do it, but it will Chris Greer do it? That's the question.
I don't know. I feel like he won't, but we'll see.
Because we're gonna let our pride get in the way.
Kevin D, what's on your mind, bro?
I just wanted to come up and say probably like the 3 most important things I think here is, first of all, Chris Greer needs to learn from his mistakes. And like Greg was saying, any offer has to be on the table. And the defense needs to be built. This defensive coordinator hire is priority 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tua, his contract, they need to sit him down and be like, look, you need a top 5 defense. It's mandatory. And if you take X amount of money, that's not doable. Your range that's acceptable is here, and you can take it or leave it, basically.
I agree with that, bro. And that's just the reality.
But far concerned, what he's done in his body of work, he doesn't deserve top 5 money at all. Period. Dude, you've been in the league 4 years.
And that's called the 11-win formula.
You've been in the league 4 years. You've been healthy and did well for 1.
Thank you, Greg, for coming up for that 11 to 12-win formula, because Houston, Detroit, and Green Bay did it. You know, they was able to turn it around in short order.
Yeah, let me tell you something. If we nuke this thing now, we save for
especially Detroit. They did it through the draft.
We save ourselves from future becoming the Saints. If we nuke this thing now, get picks, free up cap space. I believe TD said you can free up like $40 million in cap by getting rid of Hill, Howard, Ogba, Chubb, and building around your nucleus on this team. You can do it. Yes, it's punting on this year, but you're saving yourself from future, pushing the can down the road. You get your franchise quarterback, whether you trade up the number 1, take Caleb Williams, trade for Justin Fields, you go after Drake May, Jay and Daniels, whoever you go after. I mean, you it's doable, but our pride's holding us back.
Appreciate it, Larry, for having me up here. Quick question. Just a quick question. I'm just wondering. I lost my notepad, my my notes. When we played Lamar Jackson 3 weeks ago, what was the score?
59.
How much did our offense score? and how much offense did they produce, and what was Lamar Jackson's responsibility of their offense against us? There's all this nonsense about what he did against the Chiefs is irrelevant. I thought we was Dolphin fans, not Chiefs fans. But I just want to put that out there. What when we played him mano on mano, what was he responsible for as far as their offense, and what was their defense responsible for? I'm just wondering. I lost my notepad. You know, I
Exactly.
went swimming the other day. It fell in the pool.
I don't know why this is even a conversation with people. Like, and even if he did struggle, what does that have to do with Tua being good? Like, it doesn't prove anything, bro.
Yeah, that's right. Lamar Jackson's trash game yesterday, I guess that's going to help us win a playoff game and end that playoff drought next season when we have to play that same Ravens team that put up 56 on the board. I'm just curious.
And he's acting like,
how does Lamar's trash game against the Chiefs helps us against the Ravens?
No idea,
Well, to
bro.
piggyback
no
off
idea.
that,
Not sure it
they put up
negates the number one
56
seed
on us.
or getting to the AFC Championship game either, which we haven't done since 1980 something.
Yeah, in the 80s. No, 90s, the championship against the Bills. I think we lost the
what was
AFC
that?
title
Early
game.
90s, right? You're
92,
right.
yeah, 92, 93 season, yeah.
Yeah, take us
So
30.
30 plus year drought to get to that key word, third round in the playoffs. I guess people don't know the difference between 1 and 3, first round versus third round. You know, statistical probability of making the Super Bowl is greater if you're in the third round playing a game versus exiting in the first round.
Right.
Just want to put that out there.
Right, bro. Thank you for chiming in with that because I think it needed to be inquired about. It's crazy.
And also, like he said, how much did the Ravens put up against us? They put up 56. We're watching Patrick Mahomes and Brock Purdy in the Super Bowl, but the reality is Pat Mahomes, with the weapons he lacks, we could say, on offense, he never this season would have had to score anything more than 27 to win a game. The Chiefs defense never gave up more than 27 points the entire season.
In the
They
entire
averaged
18 games that they
20
played, yeah.
21
Yeah.
points per game given up.
Oh, now 20 plus
You
games,
score
right? 'Cause they
21,
play
you win.
three playoffs plus the 17, plus the 17 games that they played so far. So in 20 games, they haven't I'm sorry, Larry.
All right.
They haven't given up a freaking more than 27 points. Nobody's put up a 30 burger on them yet.
Right. That's what Tua
crazy.
needs. Tua needs that defense.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean,
Yeah, it looks like it was just another day at the offense against the Kansas City's defense, huh?
By the way, Bonjo sent me a picture of the wine he's drinking. He's drinking a nice little Chianti Classico.
So
like
so
that.
so what I'm hearing, Tua needs a lights out defense.
Yep.
To hold his team under 17 points. Because if you look down the stretch this year, he's averaged
The 84 Ravens defense is what we need. We need someone like the 84 Ravens.
84 Ravens?
Yeah,
not the 84. I mean the 2004. My bad.
Oh,
I'm so used to going back in our history. No, Shake, buddy. I'm so used to going back in our own time. That's why I just jumped up.
Yeah, listen, the 84. The 84 Ravens were the 84 Browns.
They were the Browns at that time. Exactly. They were the 84 Browns.
Because the last 3 or 4 games down the season, he's averaged 1 touchdown. So we need to hold them to 3 points, 7 points.
We have to hold them to 7 points. Yeah, 7 to get the assurance on the victory. Yeah,
Larry,
somewhere between 7 to 10 points on average. Yeah.
Larry,
Stretch.
Larry, I love all y'all guys. I love you to death, dude. I got some few choice words, but I'll keep it to myself.
All right, bro. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty extreme.
If Brock,
but
I'm sorry.
I mean,
that's hard to do.
The three out of the 4 teams that played this past week were top 3 defenses. Guess which one lost?
The
Lions.
The one that was number 2. Right, the Lions, and then the other one that was number 2 overall, right?
So now we have the number 2 and number 3 top defenses playing in the Super Bowl. Every quarterback needs defense. Period. I don't care how good they are.
Yeah, but there's levels to that, though. There's some quarterbacks need it, but some people it's just a benefit. It's just a cherry on the top. Yeah, everybody can benefit from it. There's levels to which type of quarterback needs it. You know, well,
True.
last year, Patrick Mahomes, they often scored like 27, 28 a game or something like that, or 29, something like that. This time they don't have to score as much because their defense did. We don't know if really that Andy Reid is dialing his offense back because of the fact of the strength of his defense. We don't really know truly that Kansas City hasn't been dialing it back on offense. We know they had some struggles catching the ball throughout the regular season, as far as holding on to football. But we don't know if really Andy gotten really conservative because he really trusts his defense now. They might be the same Chiefs as last year as far as putting up a lot of points. You just never know.
When
I think
MVS
they're
caught
close now.
When MVS caught that game-winning catch, we were like, "There it is! They had us fooled. Fool's gold, dropping in the
Yes.
season, but now catch it now. Now they catch it."
Yeah, that's what I was saying, Greg. You just never know, man. They might put it all together in this 1 week, this last game of the season. They put up a 40 or 50 burger. They're like, damn, what was that Chiefs team at?
And by
A
the
lot
way,
of it has to do with development. Guys like Pacheco and Rice, they're coming on real strong
Rice
now.
is a rookie. Yeah, right. He's coming on. He's had a good December, a good January too. At that,
all I know is one of Chris Greer's first round pick was in the NFC Championship game last Sunday.
Oh, Chris Greer's first round pick was.
Yeah.
Hey, Larry.
Yo.
You know who that was, Crypto?
I'll wait for
Was it
Shake to
Dieter?
ask this question.
No, Dieter wasn't the first round pick. My
No.
bad. His first round pick.
Was
he on the Lions?
NFC Championship. Yeah, he played.
He was on the Lions.
Yeah.
I forget his name.
Charles Harris.
Washington.
Charles Harris.
Oh, Harris is on that team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Larry, can I ask Mountie a question?
Yeah.
Hey, Mountie, listen, I get what you're saying about Tua's performance, but here's the thing. Do you know one of the reasons why I'm so strong on the get Greer out of here thing? He is the piece. Tua is not going anywhere because he is attached to that pick. That fifth round, that fifth pick, that's all Greer.
That's
so if he trades
He's
him
not letting
away,
that go.
that speaks on I think that's the last holding point, because look at the pattern, right? You brought him in here, he was supposed to sit, and then I believe, I could be wrong, that Ross was the one that wanted to see his tiny little toy out there, that fifth round pick, and I think that's why they forced Flores to play him. But I just think no matter what, he will replace as many coaches as he needs. He'll get enough window dressing being Tyreek Hill, Bradley Chubb, and just recently Jalen Ramsey. I know you, Mountie, you've been banging the table about Tua, his vision, his clutchness. It all don't matter. As long as Christopher Aloysius Greer III is general managing this team, Tua ain't going nowhere. I promise you, he ain't going nowhere. Now, if Ross decides to get rid of Greer, which I don't see that neither, that's why I agree with Larry. We'll be here same time next year with a different set of
Same
draft
bat
picks.
channel, same bat station.
Because next year it becomes more complicated, right? Because you got another year of film, right? So whatever alterations that we did in the beginning of the year, that is film on that. It's the same thing and that's where I challenge Mike McDaniel, right? Because if you notice, he has the same pattern from August to November the 28th. He's amazing. Once they get into October, January, he gets figured out because the game that he plans is not built for the playoffs, right? Just like in basketball, there's regular season play and then there's playoff play. That's why certain teams look really good in the regular season and then they struggle in the playoffs because the game changes. Even though you're still playing football, the tactics change, especially with us
More half court in the NBA, played in the playoffs, than the up and down stuff. You right, Nate?
I
Yeah.
go more to for NBA is the physicality. The refs allow you to play a little bit more stricter
Yeah. But it's
in
they walking the ball up the court more often too. Yeah, I
right. But
noticed.
for football, I'm seeing with McDaniel. Last year it was San Francisco. He got figured out, right? This year it was Tennessee because you just see even though we beat the Cowboys, it's like he didn't recover in his game plan after we lost to Tennessee. And I just think that's his challenge. Like that's why I'm not blaming Tua for all of it because everybody has their own circle of accountability. Even Vic Fangio when he was here school, but come on, you're looking at an Eli Apple, really? Like you're looking at practice. If they talked about Cam Smith didn't get on the field because he was getting burnt in practice. I can only imagine what was happening to Eli Apple in practice. So there's accountability for everything. I'm just saying if you're banging the table for Tua to leave, stop it. You're gonna get your ESPN dun, 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 probably in the next couple of weeks because he jacked up that cap, and now believe it or not, him extending Tua actually saves him a little bit from this cap hell of 41 million. I think it's 50
No, but
something
just push
million.
kicks the can down the road. It don't really
Yeah, but
save
if
us
we,
nothing.
I did
You're
the
still
math.
kicking it down the road.
I did some math. If we extend, if say, for example, if we extend to it right now, we only save like 10 million against the cap. It's
But you're
not.
not hearing me, Mountain. It has nothing to do with it. This is about ego right now. That's the problem with the team. They lack the ego and the fortitude of being a tough team. And your GM lacks his ego that he made the wrong decisions, not just one, but plural. But the one thing he's holding on to his vest is Tua. That's why you keep getting different coaches, different coordinators, different players, and he is safe. I'm telling you, I'm trying to save you some oxygen because as we get older, we're gonna need every breath that we take. You are wasting your time trying to think about that Tua gonna get up out of here. He is not. As long as Christopher Aloysius Greer III is here, he is safe because once he relinquished that, if he trades Tua, you know what he is telling us? He failed. His entire rebuild failed. And a man
Right.
like that, he got too much pride because if he says he fails, then he made Ross look like an imbecile for 6 years. So you really think they're gonna let this man go? Especially when he's the whole narrative, the whole buildup is could he play a full season? They didn't say he had to be effective. They said he had to play a full season. And whether you like it or not, he
Play
accomplished that.
17 games.
He wasn't on a stretcher. He didn't have a neck roll on him, and he wasn't in concussion protocol. So now Greer can easily say, now it's not Tua, it's everybody else around him got injured. So we got to give him another chance with everybody healthy. You see where this is going? I know it hurts, but it's the truth. It's the truth. And the quicker you get there,
But
the
everybody on
less you.
offense wasn't injured until late.
Yeah, but you get
He
what I'm
had a
saying.
complementary of all of his offensive weapons around him.
Omar and the rest of the Dolphin plants are already saying it. He stayed healthy. He got better and better, even though we know that's a lie because he totally collapsed
Yeah,
in
that's
December,
terrible. That's pure
January.
propaganda.
But it's the whole thing is he lost his offensive line, which is totally contradictory from what Greer told us in the summer that we're more worried about the offensive line than he is. So why are we complaining about the offensive line if your GM has told you in multiple ways he is not concerned about it? They're gonna say Tyreek was injured, Hill was injured, everybody was injured but Tua, and we got to give him the fair opportunity to play with a healthy team. I'm telling you, it's coming,
And
Mountain.
by the way, Danny,
What
you
NFL team
misquote
played
Chris
with a
Greer.
full complement of their
You
roster?
misquote Chris Greer. He said you're more worried than we are. You forgot to add the laugh in there.
Yep.
Oh, that
I
little
know Michael
twin.
K is in the chat. Hey, Michael K, if you're still in the chat, can you care to put down how many combinations on y'all front seven that y'all had due to Matt Milano and some of y'all secondaries been out on defense because we tend to use that talking point when it comes to our offensive line. I'm just curious since we do play the Bills in that division, How many combination of lineups that y'all had on defense due to y'all injuries? Just put the number down there if you got it.
Hey, Michael K. While you're at it, I want to put a 1 in the chat if Leslie Frazier will be a good hire for us, or put a 2 if you're gonna laugh at us when we hire that bum.
I think I already know it's a 2. I already know it's a 2. So.
It's a 2.
But you hear
But it
me,
don't
Mountie?
even matter. It don't
Yeah, they
even
ran him out
matter.
the building.
It don't even matter what coordinator we get if we don't have the right pieces that he needs. Look at where he comes from. He got Leonard Floyd, Jordan Phillips, Milano, AJ Epinesa, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, what's his name?
Hyde.
Yeah, I got him, and the cornerback.
Tre'Davious White.
Tre'Davious White, dude, come on, bro. We listen. We're gonna have to get rid of X. We're gonna get rid of Baker. We might lose Christian Wilkins. Hell, while you bull crapping, we might lose Holland. That he may trade him.
I don't know. I
So
think
9 different
Holland,
linemen. So the combinations probably will be in double digits as far as if it's 9 different linemen. If you add the starters, so they had as many different combinations on defense, different as we had on offense. So teams are going to have injuries. No one's playing the full season as a unit. It's rare. We're asking for the impossible.
See, nobody's talking about their defense was still top 10 without Leslie Frazier with Sean McDermott.
But what I'm saying is, Mountie, I just think that I don't know what Ross did that Greer witnessed, and he has that big joker to where his job is safe. The only thing I can see happening if we crap the bed next year, that may be then that's when I think Ross will go ahead and want to blow it up. But I think if they blow it up, Mike McDaniel will be the scapegoat because they're already painting a picture for that. They're already setting the stage.
Oh yeah, they get 9 months in advance.
Right. But I think Tua is still going to be safe because, like I said, for Greer, from what I see of him, his personality, his mannerisms, and how he conducts himself publicly when he talks to the media, when he's asked questions, that's a little arrogant, such and so. He is very arrogant. For someone who hasn't won nothing,
listen, Tua is only safe in his mother's arms. Listen, they need to go and get that dude up out of here.
Greer's very egotistical.
But I'm saying, Mountie, he is safe. Greer is him. You know they
he's safe in his mother's arms.
Yeah, his mama or his surrogate mama is Christopher Aloysius, Quartisha Aloysius Greer. That's who it is. That's keeping him safe. And I'm telling you, Mike McDaniel, you better pack up half of your house because I'm telling you, if London falls, they're gonna have him take the fall. It won't be Tua. They don't Mountie. I'm gonna be checking for you, proof of life. When that ESPN do comes up and you hear about Tua's new deal, I am looking for you on the island of Hawaii because it's gonna happen. I'm telling you, they're not trading him. They're not gonna make him pay that 5th year because it's not even about Tua at this point. It's about Greer and the decision that he made because we all know publicly 2 things are true. Ross didn't want Tua. I don't care what nobody say. Not just the Brady incident, but people keep forgetting that he wanted Lamar. He wanted Lamar Jackson.
He wanted like 3-4 different
and guess who
quarterbacks
talked
at
him
one
out
point.
of it? Greer. He wanted Deshaun with all of the massage foolery. There is narrative out there that he met with Deshaun and was like, okay, if you take a deal, I'll come and get you. So it's not Ross.
22 signatures is all he needed.
Greer
18
is
of
the
them
one.
signed. 4 of them was a holdout.
Greer, and I don't even think it's about Tua at this point. Is Greer not accepting that he totally mismanaged this rebuild? If you look at the teams, and I put it in the chat, there was 2 other teams that rebuilt at the same time as us. Y'all know that? The Detroit Lions and the Cincinnati Bengals. We both was like in that same rebuilding period. Around the same. I'll just count those 2 because Cincinnati actually went to a Super Bowl and Detroit should have went to a Super
Should
Bowl.
have went to one of the Super Bowl. Yeah, they should have
We
been
are
there.
the
They was a
only
shoe
ones.
in.
We are the only ones that didn't win a playoff game with our reset and our rebuild. I don't know if y'all paid that attention. Because Cincinnati, right? Cincinnati, we played Cincinnati and won that game and lost Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
That if we
Yeah, the very
remember the
last game of the
narrative
season, or close to
correctly,
the last. Yeah,
and we were thinking about getting that old lineman Pennell instead of Jalen Waddle. So those three teams are connected, and that's why it should be. That's why Dolphin fans fighting each other still doesn't make sense to me. Like all of the anger should be pointing in one direction after watching these playoffs. Like you should be sickened what is going
yeah,
on with
it
all
is
of these other
depressing, and
teams.
they need to watch the playoffs.
It's sad.
It's depressing. San Francisco actually kind of, even though they was in the Super Bowl a couple years ago, but they sort of redid their team with the skill position. You know, they've added CMC and they've added a 7th-round rookie to the mix. You know, and they was able to hit the ground running.
But you know, that's one thing I wanted to bring up. CMC is a difference maker because at the end of the day, I never forget one year when Christian McCaffrey was on the Panthers, and they were like 4-0. I'm like, damn, man. Everybody's saying, oh man, look how good Sam Darnold is playing. Sam Darnold is playing lights out. And the second Christian McCaffrey got injured,
that went Donald. Yeah, it's weird because now they're on the same team.
Well, I don't know how Larry gonna hold it up, but as a fan, this is where I hope at one point that the Tua versus everybody else in the fan base that we could come to a truth. Because if you sit there and just stop arguing and just pay attention to what has happened over the last 4 years, it's very clear. It's very clear where we are, and that's where at times, and I know people get on Tua, but I'm like, he didn't draft himself. He's not going to give himself this extension. There's other people behind the curtain. And even for Tua, like, think about this. How would you feel if you learned your employer just got in trouble looking for the replacement of you? Like, that's wild. Like, I got to come to work every day and look at my owner and say, hey, we lost a draft pick because you got caught trying to recruit somebody else. So, like, that's why when people just try to paint this on Flores, oh, he treated him like he wasn't good enough. I said, what about Stephen Ross? To me, Stephen Ross was worse because he's the owner. You shouldn't even be at that level of conversation. Like, you're so high in the hierarchy. What are you doing getting caught recruiting somebody? You're the owner. Like, I mean, if Flores snitched or not is irrelevant. It's the fact that he did it. That's why when people say, well, he snitched. Well, I said, well, if Ross didn't do this thing, it wouldn't have been nothing to tell. Like, what owner? And I got to say, them owners probably laugh at him, you know, in their own little secret circles. Like, how did you get caught?
Of course they do.
Well, you know what's funny is when
I was put a caveat. Some of the owners, not all of them. Rooney don't have to do that nonsense in order to make his team
negotiations, he's going to go to Greer. By the way, Greer, what are we picking for our 3rd round? Oh yeah, we don't have one. Why weren't we picking the 3rd round again?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, even look at the Eagles, right? The Eagles and San Francisco, both of those teams rebuilded multiple times. Like when we start counting the teams that went and rebuilded their team to get back to a playoff win, and we look at, we've been doing this thing for 20 years, and Greer's been here for 20 years. Like when I hear people cape for him, the Greer police, that's when I'm gonna put my little siren. The Greer police is here. I'm like, how do you close your eyes to 20 years, no matter what his role was? But they were like, well, he wasn't the G. And Larry, I'm sure you don't like this neither.
Yeah, 2016, I think he officially.
Why do people try to take away years off of people's employment? Like they'd be like,
yeah, it's crazy.
Like Tua really wasn't here for 4 years. He was only here for 2. Greer wasn't the
that's
GM.
ridiculous. He's a 4-year veteran.
when I hear these people, I'm like, are you really in a bubble room with a straight jacket selling me this minutia that you giving me? Like, we really gonna deduct 2 years of what actually happened because the guy didn't perform at the level that you thought he was gonna perform? It's crazy.
No, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. The whole thing is nuts with him. The whole organization. You guys know my feelings on it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I actually got to hop off. I don't know if Shakes, you want to hold it down.
And we could do some final thoughts if you want.
All right. So listen, my final thought is if you guys have listened to this whole show and you still have not subscribed to this channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. Click subscribe. We got content coming all off season. We got these conversations. We got other ideas coming too. So stay tuned. Click subscribe. Join, become a member, just like Nene's a member, just like Q's a member, just like all these people out here, like Jason's a member, Michael K is a member, Adam Sadowski. You got members. You get access to my written column. You get access to other things, perks like hopping up first. Join the channel, become an official member of Fury Fam. And look, we're going to have a lot of off-season content. I just got to say, nothing's going to change, so we better figure out a way to try to make it work or just enjoy each other's conversations and just kick it at the tailgates. That's about it. Final thoughts for everybody else?
Michael K, I just want to let you know, Michael K, Buffalo is still the armpit of America. I just want to put that out there. Still the armpit of America.
My final thought is whether you agree with people's takes, we're all still Dolphin fans. I try to keep that as perspective. Hopefully, when you're watching the game, you're not cheering against the team. I think we all, whether you love Tua, hate Tua, love Greer, love Ross, no matter what, we want to see this team win. And I just think another year of failure just creates more tension in the fan base. I give it a 24-hour rule. Everybody agrees that it went wrong, and then after 24 hours, we go back to our narratives because the media does that. They pull us one way. They'll put a report here, and it'll go with your opinion. But at the end of the day, we're Dolphin fans. Larry K, I'm glad that you have a platform, and I have news, Larry K. If I could get this done, I've been talking to James and Dalvin Cook. They're friends of mine. We graduated at the same high school. Dope. If you are hoping to it, I got with Miss Fins. If I could get both of them to get on the platform and kind of expand this brand a little bit for any Q&A for Dalvin and James Cook.
I would love that. Just talk to me. Hit me in private. Hit me on the social media.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
It'll probably be later once I go to the alumni picnic, which is a big thing. Everybody that graduated from Central goes to this picnic. I should be down there this year, and Nate should be down there. So I'm trying to work it to where they come on a couple of podcasts with me. So
sounds
put
good.
that out there.
Talk to me. I'm with it. I
All
appreciate
right.
it too. Always a pleasure, Nene.
That'd be neat.
Anybody else final thoughts?
No. Gonna be a long.
Man, it's always great to be on Finn Fury. So I love it, man. Hey, Larry, you be good, man.
You too, brother.
My fellow New Jersey brother.
Yes,
and
sir.
Greg and Shake and Lucci, man. I love all y'all, man. Peace out.
Love y'all, brother. Later, guys.
Gonna be a long off season, guys.
Yeah, this Thursday happy hour, baby.
Hey, I got a thought.
Go for it, bro.
Just because I know I'm always on defense. That's my favorite side of the ball, really. But I'm going to switch it up here with the offense and just say they need to diversify the offense, especially the passing game, and get away from Tua just throwing to Tyreek and Waddle.
Yes.
Between Waddle and Hill, they had 175 receptions. Combined to equal that, you would have to add Durham Smythe, Ced Wilson, Devon Achane, Braxton Berrios, and Raheem Mostert.
That's
all
crazy.
of those guys combined.
That's a failure of coaching and offensive use of weapons. I hear you, bro.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right, man. Listen, I appreciate you, Larry. And like I said, happy hour is this Thursday. Tomorrow I'm going to be on the Smoke Lounge. And it's going to be a hell of an off season. That's for sure.
Good night, everybody.
I know you heard me on the radio.